starting by showing Tobirama Senju a summary of Naruto. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226 Uzumaki Nagato. The Conspiracy of the Summaries. For beginners, the premise of making detonating talismans is that you must have samples. Here we have to mention Kakuza. Kakuza is responsible for making money, paying wages, bonuses and all the financial affairs of Akatsuki organization. The base of Akatsuki organization, Rain Village, is itself training ninjas. On the one hand, it is for the expenses of the organization, and on the other hand, it is for the maintenance of the ninja system of Rain Village. It shows that Kakuza has a lot of money in his hands. In this case, Rain Village should also have an assembly line for making detonating talismans. Then, it is reasonable for Conan to use the salary paid by Kakuza to buy expensive detonating talismans for research. It is also reasonable for Conan to work as a factory girl at the production center of Rain Village detonating talisman for a few days and learn the production process. Laughs, as Rain Village people, every penny of money in their hands is closely related to Kakuza, and they are the ultimate workers. Tobirama office. Looking at the ghost-like money-counting picture on the light screen, Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression gradually became weird. Hiruzen, what's wrong? Uchiha Kagami noticed Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression and asked. Nothing, I just think that Mr. Kakuza is always a hard-working person no matter which time and space he is in. That's right. In the Akatsuki organization on the side of the Third Hokage, to put it nicely, he is the financial director. To put it bluntly, he is just a part-time worker. In Konoha in this time and space, Kakuza has been outside the village, doing the business of bounty hunters, and returns to the village once a month. He shows up in the morning to explain and tell Senju Tobirama some things, and then leaves the village in a hurry in the afternoon to continue his money-making business. He is so busy that he doesn't even know that the village has resurrected the First Hokage. I don't know if Mr. Kakuza will remember the fear of being dominated by wood release when he assassinated the First Hokage when he sees the First Hokage. After talking about the raw materials and production process of these 600 billion detonating talismans, let's take a look at the explosion effect of this batch of talismans. After these detonating talismans explode, they are not the kind of simple white smoke talismans, but talismans with flames. It means that when injecting chakra, you need to bring some fire chakra. But there is no fire attribute in Conan's attributes. Here we have to talk about Nagato. As the holder of the Summaries, Nagato is a cowherd of the Uzumaki clan. Wait, Nagato is from the Uzumaki clan. In two different time and space, Mito and Kushina asked the same question. But compared with Mito's confusion, Kushina was a little excited. As we all know, in the time and space of the Third Hokage, the Uzumaki clan had been destroyed, and the Uzumaki clan members scattered throughout the ninja world, together, probably less than 10 people. Not counting Kushina, in Konoha, besides Naruto, the half-blood, there is only Uzumaki Karin. Now that she knows that Nagato may be a member of the Uzumaki clan, Kushina immediately has a different idea. Nagato didn't tell me that he is a member of the Uzumaki clan. Jiraiya was a little dumbfounded. He has been with the three little Nagatos for 3 years. For such a long time, he didn't realize that Nagato was from the Uzumaki clan, which was indeed a bit wrong. No, red hair alone is not enough to prove that Nagato is from the Uzumaki clan, right? Moreover, if Nagato is from the Uzumaki clan, why does he have the Summaries? It must be said that Jiraiya's question was very good. Hair can't really be used as evidence of being from the Uzumaki clan. After all, there are quite a few people with red hair in the ninja world. And the appearance of the Summaries also made him subconsciously deny that Nagato was from the Uzumaki clan. Since the profession of ninja, the Uzumaki clan has never had a bloodline limit, let alone the Summaries, the first of the 3 eye techniques. Wait, the light curtain says that Nagato is the holder of the Summaries instead of the owner. Hearing this, everyone looked at the light curtain with horror in their eyes. To hold means that this thing may not be yours but it is in your hands. To own means that this thing is yours and in your hands. The two have similar meanings, but they are not the same. Jiraiya. If Nagato is really a member of the Uzumaki clan, then he can't have the Summaries, but now the Summaries is on Nagato. Guess who the owner of these eyes is? Or Kimura. Do we need to guess? Everyone. Well, there is really no need to guess. Naruto. Except for someone, everyone present is not stupid. They only need to combine the information they know to guess who the owner of these Samsara eyes is. Alas, if this is true, doesn't it mean that everything Nagato has experienced was arranged by others? This is too miserable. Jiraiya, do you want to tell Nagato this news? Jiraiya thought about it for a while, and finally shook his head and said, "It's not urgent now, let's wait until we finish reading Nagato's inventory." As the holder of the Samsara Eye, Nagato is a cow and horse of the Uzumaki clan. Fire escape is naturally no problem, and the amount of chakra is also very large. It's not too much to inject some fire escape chakra into the talisman for Jiraozi, no, for my sister-in-law, right? By the way, it can also explain why Nagato is as thin as a monkey all day long even though he has the hungry ghost path. Most of the time, it was because of Konan's exploitation. Next, let's broaden our thinking. After Kakuza died, Konan became the head of the family. She did say that she was preparing to guard against Obito, so why didn't she use the inheritance from the organization to buy some expensive exploding talismans and mix them into the 600 billion? Maybe there was a lot of it mixed in, and Kakuza used the money from his own treasury to buy a high-end exploding talisman worth tens of thousands of taels. Finally, let's not count how much Kakuza had to earn to buy the exploding talisman for Konan. Considering that a bowl of each ramen in Konoha village costs less than 100 taels, Konan sold it at the cheapest price of 300 taels per piece calculated by netizens. At this point, we can bring up that calculation unit of our bounty world, Ashuma-san, who is worth 35 million taels. According to the number of Ashuma's heads, Kakuza said that he would have to kill more than 500,000 Ashumas to earn enough money to buy detonating tags for Konan. The bodies of Azuras who were killed could circle the ninja world if they were connected together. Laughs no, Guangmu, a polite. What do you mean I'm the unit of calculation in the bounty world? Ashuma was a little excited when he heard his name mentioned by Guangmu again. But when he saw that he appeared as a unit of calculation, he began to complain unsatisfactorily. Ashuma. On the side, Kakashi patted Ashuma's shoulder and comforted him. Don't be dissatisfied, others want to be a unit of calculation, but they can't do it. Ha ha ha. Kakakin, as a unit of chakra, what qualifications do you have to laugh at me? Oh, if Ashuma didn't say it, Kakashi would have forgotten that he was still a unit of chakra. Why don't I just give you my bounty unit? That way, you'll have 2 units, which is unique in the ninja world. Hearing this, Kakashi immediately switched places with his father Sakamo, and then covered his ears with his hands and said to Ashuma, "What? Ashuma, what are you talking about? I can't hear you." Ashuma. 6. Chapter 227 Jiraiya, let's tie up Obito and hand him over to Konan. If I say that 600 billion exploding talismans are not Konan's limit, will you call the author of Naruto Shabi? I'm not making this up. Konan said during the battle with Obito that in order to blow him up, he simulated the explosion several times. What this means is that Konan must have exploded 600 billion exploding talismans at least once before he came to the conclusion that he could kill Obito in 10 minutes. To be honest, even if Kakuza, a 91-year-old man, drained his small coffers, he couldn't stand what Konan did. Kakuza's life savings are nothing compared to the volume of 600 billion exploding talismans, not even a drop in the ocean. To sum up, Kakuza's brother knew that Konan would explode after exploding 600 billion exploding talismans at once, and he would definitely be furious, and it would be the kind that would explode all 5 hearts at the same time. Everyone. Is the author of Naruto mentally ill? 600 billion is already exaggerated enough, and now it is increased to at least 1.2 trillion? Did Akai teach the author math? Even if it was Akai's math, it wouldn't be so outrageous, right? Everyone's heads were about to explode when they heard that Konan had simulated the exercise several times. Whether it is a novel, a comic or any other work, some problems in it do not need to be investigated too much, as long as they can make sense. But they live in the real world, and after the information revealed in the light screen video, they did change some things. For example, they killed Danzo in advance. This proves that they are not living in a virtual world. So here comes the question. Since it is a real world, how can Konan make trillions of detonating tags? This is fucking unrealistic. I really want to find the author of Naruto and beat him up. Even if he is messing around, he should follow that basic laws. At least trillions of detonating tags, just to kill Obito? Isn't this too much of a compliment to Obito? The matter of trillions of detonating tags was too much of a shock to them, and they all started to complain. Even Orochimaru couldn't help but say, isn't it just Obito? Exchange these detonating tags for money and give them to me, and give me some time to investigate the intelligence. It's just Obito, I can kill him in minutes. This is not using detonating tags to blow up Obito, this is clearly using money to hit Obito. It's a waste that he hasn't been killed yet. MD, Jiraiya, if we kidnap Obito and hand him over to Konan, will Konan give us 600 billion detonating tags as a reward? I don't know whether there will be a reward or not, but I think Konan will most likely send you, the traitor, and Obito, the malicious person, to the sky. Orochimaru thought about it carefully and found that what Jiraiya said made sense, so he gave up the idea of kidnapping Obito. Kakashi and Nohara, who were in the same office, were sweating all over when they heard this. They were afraid that the 5th Hokage Jiraiya would agree to the evil Orochimaru's plan. Fortunately, the wise and brave Jiraiya was not bewitched by the evil Orochimaru, otherwise Obito would have been dead. So, did Konan spend Kakuza's money? This up believes that she definitely spent it, but even if she spent it all, it would not help her much. At this point, we can redefine the rich woman in Naruto. Not to mention that the ninja tools that the rich woman throws out every day can be recycled. Konan's detonating tags will never come back after they are lit. In Kakuza's eyes, what exploded were not detonating tags, but all money. Especially as a member of the organization, Kakuza did not realize that the rich woman was in front of me before he died. Old comrade Kakuza may not be able to rest in peace in the underworld. Returning to the 600 billion detonating tags, in fact, there are more than 600 billion, there are trillions. This intimidating number should be attributed to the author of Shubi, who inevitably overturned the car for the sake of exaggeration. Of course, it doesn't matter if it's overturned, it can be explained anyway. There is a saying that Konan's simulation exercise was Nagato using the power of the Samsara Eye to let Konan practice in an illusion. It doesn't matter whether it's true or not, as long as there is a reason that can barely explain it. So, you can complain about this joke, but don't go too far. This is probably it. Seeing the end, everyone breathed a sigh of relief after knowing that there is still a possibility of using the Samsara Eye. However, the simulation exercise can be explained by the Samsara Eye illusion, but the 600 billion detonating talismans in reality are real. When everyone thought of this, they really felt a headache. On the one hand, some people coveted the value of these detonating talismans, such as Orochimaru. On the other hand, they were also afraid that when Konoha and the Akatsuki organization confronted each other, Konan would use these detonating talismans to blow them up. Even though Jiraiya is their teacher, if they are really on the opposite side, they will still kill them. Even his own teacher was not spared, let alone this group of people. Jiraiya, the 5 Hokage conference will be held in the Land of Iron soon. Can you tell us clearly how we should deal with the Akatsuki organization? The 3rd Hokage seemed very melancholy. As for the Akatsuki organization, when he knew about Jiraiya's relationship with them, he felt that Konoha should have a basis for peaceful coexistence with them, and even further, they could form an alliance secretly. With such a powerful organization as an ally, some dirty work can be left to them. Just like the role of Danzo in Konoha. It was only after he learned about the Akatsuki organization's plan to capture the tailed beast that he gave up the idea of peaceful coexistence. No matter what, Konoha will never give up the 9 tails Jinchuriki. Old man, I really haven't thought about this yet. Jiraiya waved his hand irritably, indicating that he didn't want to talk about this topic yet. After all, Nagato and Konan were his disciples. Even though he knew that he would die at the hands of Nagato in his original destiny, he did not hate them at all. If possible, he really did not want them to die. It was just that the matter of capturing the tailed beasts naturally put them on the opposite side of the 5 major ninja villages, and there was no possibility of reconciliation. In addition, Nagato destroyed the Hidden Cloud village, which was simply a hatred that would not end until one died. At this time, the Akatsuki organization was like the biggest villain in the novel he wrote that attracted all the hatred. There was no other way except to let the protagonist kill them. No, it's not that there is no way at all. At this time, Jiraiya brought in his own thoughts while writing novels. The more he thought about it, the brighter his eyes became. If you want the villain to turn over a new leaf, and to make peace with the protagonist or even join the protagonist, then there must be a tenable reason to whitewash the evil deeds they did before. Can Nagato and Konan be whitewashed? Jiraiya thought that they could. Chapter 228. Leader of Akatsuki. Nagato. Jiraiya believes that no matter how bad Akatsuki's plan to capture the tailed beasts is, their starting point is for the peace of the ninja world. With this premise, there is the possibility of whitewashing. Secondly, when whitewashing the villain, it is better to throw out a bigger and more evil villain. In this way, the protagonists will see that there is a more powerful villain, and the whitewashed villain will be accepted. In the ninja world, who can appear as a villain better than Uchiha Madara? In front of the Shura of the ninja world, everything is not a big deal. As for what kind of evil plan Uchiha Madara has, at most they can throw out the Moon Knight plan that they guessed. Jiraiya didn't believe it. When facing the crisis of the entire ninja world, they would still hold Nagato and Konan. Maybe the Hidden Cloud village will be a little tricky because of the hatred of destroying the village. But in front of Konan's 600 billion detonating tax, whether it is compensation or threats, as long as the Fourth Hokage is not stupid, he can only compromise. Those barbarians from the Hidden Cloud village used to blackmail others everywhere, and even now Konoha has suffered a loss. As long as my plan goes smoothly, I can let these barbarians suffer a good loss this time. As for the people who died in the Hidden Cloud village when Nagato destroyed the village, it has nothing to do with Jiraiya, because they are not from Konoha. To put it cruelly, the major ninja villages all hope that more people from the other 4 major ninja villages will die, so that they will not threaten their own villages. Okay, let's talk about the leader of the Akatsuki organization, Nagato. At first, in order to implement the Moon Knight plan, Uchiha Madara secretly transplanted the Samsara Eye to the body of Nagato, the descendant of Uzumaki. This Samsara Eye is really Uchiha Madara's. Although the 5th generation Jiraiya and others had already guessed the owner of the Samsara Eye, they still couldn't help being surprised after they really confirmed their guess. Wait, if my brain is not broken, in my memory, the Eye Jutsu of the Uchiha clan should be the Sharingan, right? As soon as Jiraiya finished speaking, everyone instantly turned their eyes to Sasuke, the only Uchiha present. To be honest, being stared at by so many people at the same time, even the fearless Sasuke felt a little overwhelmed for a moment. Why are you all looking at me? Your brains are still intact. The Eye Jutsu of our Uchiha clan is indeed the Sharingan, not the Samsara Eye. If that's the case, then how did Madara get his Samsara Eye? At the same time in Tobirama's office, Senju Hashirama looked at the light curtain in surprise, as if he had heard something horrible. Brother, when you fought Madara a few days ago, did he use the Rinnegan? Hashirama shook his head and replied, no. He carefully recalled the scene when he fought Madara last time, and continued, but Madara was a little strange at the time. It was obvious that his complete form of Susanoo could not do anything to me, but he dragged such a weak body and didn't know how to save Chakra, and had to hold on. That's not strange. Hearing this, Senju Tobirama didn't feel it was strange, because he is such a person. Yeah. Hashirama nodded and agreed with what Tobirama said. It's just that at the time, I saw a hint of hesitation on Madara's face, as if he still had a trick he wanted to use, but he was worried about something and didn't use it, and in the end he only used the Wooden Man. It seems that what he wanted to use but didn't use was the Rinnegan. After saying this, Tobirama, like the people on the Santomi's side, was full of doubts about why Madara had the Rinnegan. The biggest difference between the current Madara and the previous Madara is that he has implanted Josos and can use wood release. Is there a possibility that Madara has or awakened the Samsara Eye after implanting your cells? The more he talked, the more Tobirama felt that this should be the case. When he cloned the clone of Senju Hashirama, only the cells of the Uchiha clan would not be swallowed by Hashirama's cells. Among them, Uchiha Kagami's cells were not strong enough, and only Uchiha Madara's cells could perfectly clone Senju Hashirama's body. At the time, Senju Tobirama had already noticed the difference between the two cells. They were fighting each other, but also merging with each other. It was as if the two cells were split from the same ancestor. Following this line of thought, Tobirama felt that he seemed to have discovered something extraordinary. Tobirama, what's wrong with you? Why do you look so ugly? Seeing that his brother's face suddenly became a little ugly, Senju Hashirama rubbed his face hard. Brother, I'm not a child anymore. Breaking free from the evil hands of Senju Hashirama, Senju Tobirama just smacked his lips and didn't speak out his guess. He still needed some evidence to confirm his guess. And the best evidence was none other than Senju Hashirama in front of him. As long as he could awaken the Samsara Eye like Uchiha Madara, everything would be connected. However, looking at Hashirama who hadn't even awakened the Sharingan, Tobirama felt that it might take him many years to wait until he awakened the Samsara Eye. Instead of waiting foolishly, it would be faster to ask Uchiha Madara directly. In Tobirama's opinion, it didn't really matter whether Uchiha Madara said it or not. What mattered was that he wanted to see what Madara's reaction would be. As long as there was a reaction, he could make a guess. He was quite confident in his own judgment. During the Second Ninja War, the Land of Rain was attacked by various countries due to its geographical location. Nagato's parents were mistakenly killed by Konoha ninjas as enemies. Surrounded by fear, Nagato subconsciously used the Samsara to fight back. But from then on, he became a lonely child. What a sin! Why did Nagato's parents die at the hands of our Konoha ninjas? Don't sigh, old man, this must be Danzo's fault. The third Hokage was slightly stunned when he heard this, and then nodded fiercely. For Konoha, even if it was not Danzo's fault, it must be on him. Old man, don't you always say that everything you do is for Konoha? Then now, you need to sacrifice again. Danzo. Monkey, the word again is well used, but I still want to ask, can I refuse? Third Hokage. Of course not. Danzo. That's fine. The only one willing to accompany Nagato is the little dog he met on the roadside. In order to survive, the man and the dog began to pick up garbage. But during the war, no one could guarantee whether there would be nothing tomorrow, so no one felt sorry for Nagato. Nagato, who failed to pick up any trash and begged for alms, fainted from hunger on the roadside. Chapter 229. The Outer Path Gleam. Nagato originally thought that he would die like this, but he didn't expect to be rescued by Konan, who was also an orphan, and brought him back to Yahayako's base. After getting along for a while, the three of them successfully formed a market stealing gang and started stealing. And Nagato's identity was promoted from a poor orphan to the third in command of the stealing gang. The quality of life also increased sharply with his dependence on Yahayako and Konan. Although they were beaten when they failed to steal vegetables, at least they would not starve to death. If things continue to develop smoothly, the trio should become the overlords of the stealing world. Oh, Overlord of the Stealing World, this title sounds so domineering. In Tobirama's office, Hashirama Senju, who successfully cooperated with his younger brother and Kfu'd little Jiraiya, heard this Overlord title and couldn't help but yearn for it. Like his own title, God of Ninja, it may sound very powerful at first, but if you taste it carefully, you will feel too rustic. What about the God of Death, the God of Love, the God of the Fetus? There are just too many titles with gods in them. Scarcity makes things valuable. Once there are too many of these titles with gods in them, they will start to become worthless. I heard from Tobirama that there is a kid named Hanzo in the future, and his title is Demigod. Low, it's simply too low, not cool at all. Tobirama, from today on, please call me the Overlord of Ninjas, thank you. Upon hearing this, Senju Tobirama was very upset and started to complain. Being the god of ninjas can't satisfy you anymore? Do you still want to be the father of ninjas? Not the father, but the overbearing overlord. What's the matter, do you still use subtitles when you talk to others? If you don't want people to think you're crazy, don't talk about this crappy title everywhere. Subtitles. It's not impossible. Hashirama ignored Tobirama's complaints, but was full of interest in the matter of subtitles. At most, I can prepare a wooden board with BABA written on it in advance, and take it out when introducing the new title to others. Sister-in-law, you have to work hard for a while. Seeing that Hashirama didn't listen to his advice, Tobirama had to turn his attention to Uzumaki Mito. Don't worry, Tobirama, I'll be watching over you, and your elder brother won't be able to cause any trouble. Oh my god, why did I get married back then? Hashirama wanted to cry but had no tears. He finally came up with a new title that satisfied him, but it was strangled by his younger brother and his wife. Huh? Do you mean that you regret marrying me? Looking at Mito who was glaring at him, Hashirama's face immediately straightened. You must have heard it wrong. What I said was that marrying a wife like you is really a blessing that I have cultivated for 3 lifetimes. Haha. Seeing Hashirama giving, Mito didn't say anything else. But from her sneer, it can be seen that this matter is not over. I'll deal with you when I get home. As the saying goes, when you are well fed and warm, you'll think about sex. Nagato and the other two are still young and have not formed an existing concept in this regard, but it does not prevent them from talking about their ideals and life. For such a topic, Nagato had never considered it before, but Yahayako said that he wanted to stand at the top of the world like a god. Hashirama. You see, everyone wants to be a god, it's too low. This dream of Yahayako was still early, but because the 3 of them accidentally got involved in the war between Hanzo and the 3 ninjas, the process was accelerated. In this crisis, Nagato's puppy was blown to death. The 3 realized that such a life was precarious and they were eager to become stronger. The 3 tried to learn from the 3 ninjas who had fought against Hanzo. Tsunade ignored the request of these 3 people. Orochimaru suggested killing them. Only the kind-hearted Jiraiya refused. He took care of them for 3 years as compensation for the rain. During these 3 years, Uchiha was attacked by a ninja. Nagato unconsciously used the Samsara Eye to kill him, but he also fell into the blame of guilt for killing. For this reason, Jiraiya began to teach the 3 people ninjutsu, and also to enable Nagato to control the power of the Samsara Eye, and privately enlightened Nagato that only those who experience pain can care for others. Nagato was redeemed because of this, and he solemnly promised Jiraiya that he would one day be able to solve the curse of this world and bring peace to the ninja world. This remark also became the inspiration for Jiraiya's The Legend of Strong Perseverance Ninja. But Jiraiya did not expect that his words would make Nagato a rice carrier after Uchiha's death. Laughs goddamn rice carrier, if I hadn't known about the encounter with Danzo and the current situation of the Hidden Cloud Village, I would have almost believed it. Jiraiya felt that Guangyu, or the Uchiha Tian who made the video, was getting more and more naughty. In the inventory video, he always made some jokes. This shows that when Tian made the video, he was no longer restrained at the beginning and became more and more free-spirited. I didn't expect that the inspiration for your book, Jiraiya, would be Nagato. On the side, Minato Namikaze didn't expect that his son's name would have something to do with Nagato. Yes, if Nagato hadn't said that to me, maybe I wouldn't have been able to write this book. Naruto's name came from the protagonist of Jiraiya's novel. If Jiraiya hadn't written this novel, then Naruto might not be called Naruto, maybe he would be called Menma. 10-year-old Nagato unlocked all mainstream ninjutsu and all 5 elements. A few years after Jiraiya left with peace of mind, the 3 of them formed the Akatsuki organization with Uchiha was the leader. Jiraiya, who was far away, was quite moved after learning about his apprentice's entrepreneurial deeds. When he experienced the tenderness of the young lady in some stores, he didn't forget to show off 2 more bowls of rice. But where there is light, there is darkness. Some people pursue their ideals, and some people betray their beliefs. The rising Akatsuki organization was regarded as an obstacle by Hanzo, a giant in the ninja world. It just so happened that Danzo offered an olive branch at this time, and Hanzo colluded with Danzo, kidnapped Konan, and asked Uchiha to exchange his life for his. Nagato, who had secretly vowed to protect the 2, witnessed Uchiha crashing into his kunai and dying. For a moment, in extreme anger, he officially used the power of the Samsara Eye to save Konan. However, his legs were also disabled by Hanzo's detonation flame formation on the way to save Konan. Nagato, who wanted to kill his enemy Hanzo as soon as possible, continued to summon the outer path Gleam to attack. But the price was huge, he was sucked into skin and bones by the Gleam. What exactly is this Gleam? Jiraiya was very shocked when he looked at the screen of the light screen. This thing summoned by Nagato instantly sucked him from the body of an ordinary person into the appearance of a dried man. When Itachi was taking inventory, he felt something was wrong when he saw Nagato, who was in the 4th war and was killed by the impure world. No matter how busy Nagato was, no matter how many things there were in Akatsuki, no matter how much Konan was, he shouldn't have been that thin. Now seeing the picture on the screen, he realized that the reason why Nagato was so thin was because of this Gleam. Chapter 230 Pain 6 Paths. Do you think it's possible that the tailed beast captured by Akatsuki was sealed in this Gleam? Now that you mention it, it seems possible. On the light screen, many tubes made by the outer path Gleam were inserted behind Nagato. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that it was because these tubes were absorbing Nagato's chakra that Nagato became a skinny person. Since Nagato's chakra can be absorbed, what about the tailed beast? What exactly is this Gleam? How can it even absorb the chakra of the tailed beast? Orochimaru, you have joined Akatsuki, don't you know what this is? Also, we're only guessing at the moment, don't jump to conclusions so quickly. I really don't know what this thing is. Orochimaru shook his head. He really didn't know what the Gleam was. When he defected from Akatsuki, Akatsuki had not yet officially started the plan to capture the tailed beast. It was reasonable for him not to know the specific situation of the Gleam. Without the blessing of the tailed beast's chakra, this thing is so powerful. Once the chakra of the 9 tailed beasts is absorbed by it, I dare not imagine how powerful it'll be. No wonder Nagato is confident that he can fight violence with violence. It turns out that his confidence comes from this. I said, this is just a guess, Orochimaru, don't jump to conclusions so quickly. Orochimaru smiled indifferently, looked at Jiraiya, and said, what does it matter? Anyway, it's just a guess. You guess yours, and I guess mine. Okay. Looking at this huge Gleam and his dead subordinates, Hanzo was shocked for a whole year on the spot, and then fled in panic. Nagato, who lost his mind, began to feel that it was impossible for humans to understand each other, so he derived the idea of everyone is afraid of pain, only then can there be world peace. After that, Nagato used the samsara eye to create the 6 paths of pain, and turned Yahayako's remains into the heavenly path, as the apparent leader of the organization. The 6 paths are Heavenly Path, Animal Path, Human Path, Hell Path, Asura Path, and Hungry Ghost Path. Pain's 6 paths. In other words, Nagato only controls 6 puppets. The 5th generation Jiraiya and others thought that Nagato would use the samsara eye to control many puppets, but they didn't expect that there were only 6. Thanks to Danzo, they already knew 5 of the 6 paths of puppets, and only the last puppet of the human path was unknown. After knowing the specific number, I feel much more relieved. Yes, there are only 6 puppets. When the light curtain reveals the information of the last puppet, we can formulate a targeted battle plan. I don't know if it's my illusion, why do I feel that the puppets made by the samsara eye are just like this? The 3rd generation Hokage glanced at his stupid son and said with a slight headache, "Ashuma, you're really arrogant. Do you dare to say this in front of the 4th generation Hokage?" Well, it seems that I am a little arrogant. The Hidden Cloud village was destroyed by Nagato's Pain's 6 paths. No matter how arrogant Ashuma is, he will not think that he is more powerful than the 4th generation Hokage. You know the information about these puppets, so you think they are nothing special. If you don't know this information, the current 4th Hokage and Lord Jiraiya on the light screen are a lesson for us. I understand, Kakashi. After being told by the 3rd Hokage and Kakashi, Ashuma finally came to his senses. After all, the battle between ninjas can be said to be a war of intelligence. If he knew the information about Hidden when he was facing Hidden on the light screen, he might not have died. The same goes for the 4th Hokage. If he knew the information about the 6 paths of pain, he might have given up dealing with these puppets and turned around to gather a large number of people to go out of the village to look for the traces of Nagato's body. Speaking of which, we can know the information of 5 of the puppets thanks to Danzo. What? You don't want to kill Danzo? Looking at the talking Orochimaru, Jiraiya shook his head. Rewards and punishments are my real style. Danzo will be punished for his mistakes, and he will be rewarded for his merits. Touching his chin, Jiraiya thought for a while, and then continued. How about this? Kill Danzo one less time today, and use it as his reward. Haha, you are such a good Hokage, I thank you on behalf of Danzo. You don't have to thank me on his behalf. After the live screen video is over, I will let him thank me in person. Danzo. Thank you Grandma's legs. After Nagato used the Way of Heaven to find Hanzo to pay off his blood debt with blood, he took over Yahayako's ideal of becoming a god, called himself a god, and used ninjutsu to monitor the every move of the Hidden Rain village. The Hidden Rain village was completely isolated from the world under Nagato's reign of terror. The organization also established the goal of gathering the tailed beasts, creating the ultimate weapon, and using human fear to suppress war and move towards peace. Until one day, Jiraiya broke into the Hidden Rain village. It should be a beautiful thing to meet a former disciple, and it would be even more beautiful if there was a bowl of chicken soup. But at this time, Nagato and Jiraiya had gone in opposite directions. After a wave of verbal attacks to no avail, the two immediately started fighting. Jiraiya wanted to clean up the sect because Nagato's thoughts were too dangerous. But Pain's strength made Jiraiya unable to resist. There were 6 such corpse puppets, which was even more unexpected for him. In the end, Jiraiya died in the Hidden Rain village. So this is how I died. On the light screen, Jiraiya and 3 of Pain's 6 paths fought fiercely. According to the portraits and introductions provided by Danzo, Jiraiya clearly recognized the Hungry Ghost path and the Animal path, and there was only a puppet of the Human path. Because there was no information provided by Danzo, he did not know what abilities this puppet had. It's just right. We can take this opportunity to collect information about this last puppet of the human world. Unfortunately, the screen image disappointed Jiraiya. When Jiraiya on the screen used the Sage Mode, with the help of the 2 Toad Sages, he knocked down the 3 puppets in no time. Everyone in the office couldn't see what special function this last puppet had. Alas, being too strong is not a good thing. Almost everyone decided to ignore Jiraiya's pretentious remarks. Only Orochimaru, as a good friend, couldn't stand it and said, "You are so strong, but you are still killed by Nagato, right? Orochimaru, I think you are jealous that I can use the Sage Mode and you can't, right? What a joke. I'm jealous of you." Whether Orochimaru admits it or not, he is really a little jealous of Jiraiya for the Sage Mode. He thinks that Orochimaru has been better than Jiraiya since he was a child. Why can't he learn the sage mode, but Jiraiya, a fool, can learn it? This is unreasonable and un-ninja. The curse seal I studied is not much weaker than your senjutsu. No matter how weak it is still weak. Jiraiya, don't be complacent. When Kabata learns the sage mode and comes back, I will definitely further strengthen the power of the curse seal. Hehe, then I'll wait. Chapter 231 Jiraiya, I protest. At this point, Nagato's change from a passionate orphan to the cold-blooded leader of the Akatsuki organization can be fully explained by the artistic image of the emotional channel. Think of Nagato and Konan as the two heroines in Yu Hayako's story. Yu Hayako is the handsome male protagonist in his rising period, Konan plays the role of an unknown and virtuous wife, and Nagato, who has the power of the Samsara eye, plays the role of the rich woman behind the male protagonist, who is Yu Hayako's strong backing. If Yu Hayako didn't die, the development of the story would probably be that the rich woman and the virtuous wife who loves the male protagonist would silently support the male protagonist in his career until he succeeded. But Yu Hayako, the trio, died, and the story changed from a happy story to a sad story. The rich woman also naturally became a Yanda, and at the same time said, if the male protagonist dies, she will also realize his dream for him. Of course, if it's just like this, the male protagonist will have no sense of existence, so the male protagonist must also participate. From this perspective, it makes sense that Nagato made Yu Hayako's corpse into a puppet of heaven, took charge of the Akatsuki organization, and ruled the Hidden Rain village. Nagato regarded herself as a tool to realize Yu Hayako's ideals from the bottom of her heart. In other words, a rich woman became a Yanda for love. The relationship between Nagato and Yu Hayako is just like me and Madara. In Tobirama's office, Senju Hashirama looked at Yu Hayako and Nagato on the screen, and a trace of envy was revealed in his eyes. Brother, your situation with Madara is different from that of Nagato and Yu Hayako. Huh? How is it different? It's very simple. Yu Hayako and Nagato have never fought since they were young, but you and Madara have fought since they were young, and in the end you killed Madara. Hearing what his younger brother said, Hashirama's voice instantly became much smaller. Madara is not dead yet. Maybe he also knew that even if there was no problem with the relationship between him and Madara, Konoha, which stood between them, was an obstacle for them to move forward together. But no matter how difficult it is, I will definitely persuade Madara to come back. Hashirama was cheering himself up. With the information revealed by the light curtain, he believed that he would be able to persuade Madara to return to Konoha. I've had enough. It was just the words that Hashirama gave to encourage himself that completely angered Mito. Madara, 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 Uchiha Madara, you keep mentioning him every day, and people who don't know him would think he is your wife. Since you like him so much, then you should go with him in the future. Mito was really angry. In the past, she could still tolerate her husband talking about Uchiha Madara every day. After all, she also knew about their tangled relationship from some channels. But how many years have passed? Why is this idiot still thinking about Uchiha Madara? Is it true that this delicate and beautiful woman is not as good as that man in his eyes? It's really outrageous. Mito, what are you talking about? Mito, don't scare me. Seeing that Mito didn't seem to be joking, Hashirama panicked instantly. As the saying goes, brothers are like limbs, and women are like clothes, but whoever dares to wear my clothes, I will chop off his limbs. In order to prevent himself from being without clothes, at this moment, Hashirama really used all his skills, and his mouth was almost spitting out anger. After a round of kind words of comfort, he barely dispelled Mito's anger. The whole process was seen by everyone in the office. People with families, such as Sarutobi Hiruzen, are all grateful that their wives will not be like Mito-sama. And people without families, such as Senju Tobirama, are also grateful. Fortunately, they are not controlled by such people. In short, long life freedom. Looking at Nagato's own setting, his personality is fragile, and it is destined that he is prone to extreme views on things, so he developed into a pathological killing of the master. From the plot point of view, the author can use Jiraiya's death to promote Naruto's growth, and at the same time clearly tell the audience that Nagato, who killed his master, is heading for the ceiling of the second dimension villain. This wave of operations, the author directly wins both sides, and it is a win. Of course, sacrificing Jiraiya, who is deeply rooted in the hearts of the people, is a loss for audiences like us. As a result, Nagato's ambition to reach the ceiling actually failed when he tried to catch Naruto. From a literary point of view, there is nothing wrong with the author of Naruto doing this. He not only created an evil villain, but also allowed the protagonist to grow up sufficiently, laying the groundwork for the subsequent plot. Hearing this, Orochimaru, who was Jiraiya's good friend, immediately asked like a supporting actor, "But what?" Jiraiya looked at Orochimaru approvingly and was very satisfied with his supporting actor. However, as the person who was sacrificed, I strongly condemn that idiot for doing this. I'm a famous toad sage in the ninja world. In the eyes of the author, I'm just an experience pack for Naruto's growth, right? I strongly protest against this. The protest is invalid. In the work Naruto, you're already dead. Isn't there still the impure world reincarnation? What if the me in the work is resurrected at a certain time period? Don't dream about it. There is no information about you appearing in the fourth war. The idiot author is unlikely to let you be resurrected. Damn, then I am not in the same league as that scum Raiga. When counting the watermelon mounting, the light curtain hurt Raiga badly. He really didn't have the face of being a member of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Jiraiya didn't want to fall to the same level as Raiga. Since it can't be changed in Naruto, then I will change it in reality. Let's see the first wave of overturning. Nagato himself brought Konan with extremely arrogance to severely damage Konoha, but Mitra summoned when controlling the way of heaven. When introducing himself to Tsunade, he said that he was a god who regulates order. While Tsunade was confused and thought that the other party was a psychopath, she also said that she had no impression of Nagato. Even the younger under his command were complaining that the boy in front of him did not look like a normal person. Such a situation made the leader of the Akatsuki organization lose face and his status dropped sharply. Nagato continued to talk without caring whether it was awkward or not. Nagato. Big countries are built on the suffering of small countries. As a result, Tsunade is an old man and replied, big countries are obviously also suffering. With just this one sentence, Nagato broke down the defense and started a painful parallel sentence, officially becoming the anti-rice person in Naruto. Nagato. How many floors does a bag of rice cost after an anti-rice declaration? Tsunade used a large-scale Shinra Tensei that would shorten life without any warning, bringing an unprecedented demolition to Konoha. Konan said. As an accomplice, I never thought he would be so radical. What can I do? I don't have the Samsara. Nagato was so arrogant that he ignored the difficulty of continuing to capture the tailed beasts. He was already in a bad state and hadn't even seen Naruto yet. Chapter 232. Nagato's failure. Once again, Jiraiya and the others could not help but be shocked when they saw the scene of Konoha village being destroyed by Tendo Pain on the screen. It was really that the full-power version of Shinra Tensei was too abnormal. As one of the 5 major ninja villages, Konoha village is not just the size of an ordinary village. To put it bluntly, the scale of Konoha village is larger than that of many cities. It is better to say Konoha city than Konoha village. But even Konoha, which has such a scale, was completely destroyed by Tendo Pain's Shinra Tensei. For the ninja world whose combat power has not yet entered the period of fighting between gods, seeing such a scene is really a challenge to their worldview. This move. Nagato should not use it too much, right? The 3rd generation Hokage sucked on his pipe, his tone was quite worried. Nagato's brain was a bit nervous. If Konoha and the Akatsuki organization confronted him, he would not care about anything and use this move on everyone, and the loss would be too great. Don't worry, this move will cost you your lifespan. Nagato has already used it once in the Hidden Cloud Village. Konan will definitely not want him to use it a second time. Besides, we still have Yahiko. The ninja world today is very different from the ninja world on the light screen. There is no need for Nagato to do this to Konoha. It is because the issue of the 9 tails cannot be reconciled, and Jiraiya has recently thought of 2 backup plans. They, Konoha, do not have to fight the Akatsuki organization. The reason why there is a high probability of fighting against the Akatsuki organization is that, firstly, because Nagato did such a thing in the Hidden Cloud Village, under pressure, Konoha is most likely to cooperate with the Hidden Cloud Village to send troops. However, sending troops is sending troops, but how many troops and the degree of strength are hard to say. Secondly, it is also because Jiraiya and others are very worried that the chakra of the 9-tailed beasts will gather in the Galeem, which will produce an unknown dangerous change. The tailed beasts are inherently dangerous. When the chakra of the 9-tailed beasts gather together in one place, you can tell with your ass that this is definitely not a good thing. And the Moon Knight plan also made everyone feel like a thorn in their throat. In view of this, they must fight against the Akatsuki organization. However, how to fight is very particular. Conan saw that the time to restore the damage of pains was getting longer, and Naruto, who had just finished applying the sage eyeshadow, happened to rush back to the village. This car is not actually a collapse. After all, Nagato's strength is there. He is not fighting with his real body, so he will naturally not expose his predicament, and he will not allow himself to make Tendo Yahiko uncool. So after a fight, Nagato went in and out 7 times to suppress Naruto, and then instilled the concept of violence to suppress violence, and finally captured Naruto. On the screen, Tendo Pain looked at Naruto lying on the ground with an expressionless face and asked, "If it were you, how would you face this hatred in order to achieve peace?" Naruto: "I don't know about this kind of thing." Naruto lost because he was young and could not talk back as forcefully as Tsunade. At this time, Nagato had completely defeated Naruto in terms of both force and talking. But Nagato didn't finish his word quickly enough, which started the second wave of his failure. I can almost imagine the plot later. Nagato is so slow in doing things, no wonder he was killed by Naruto's talking. Originally, after Nagato subdued Naruto, he could just pack him up and take him away. But he had to do some tricks, which led to Naruto's reversal. He couldn't beat him in a fight, and he couldn't win in a talk. If he didn't die, who else would die if he didn't die? By the way, does Naruto have the talent to learn Sage Mode? After a little complaint, Jiraiya focused his attention on Naruto. You know, Sage Mode is not something that everyone can learn. He and Orochimaru are 2 good examples. Orochimaru, who has good talent, did not fail to learn Sage Mode, but he, who has relatively poor talent, learned Sage Mode. Such a result made Orochimaru envious and jealous for a long time. Who can he go to for justice? And looking at Naruto's eyeshadow, he should be in perfect Sage Mode. Seeing this, Jiraiya couldn't help but feel envious. Although he also knew the Sage Mode of Noboku mounting, he was not very skilled. When he activated the Sage Mode, he needed to spend a lot of time to gather the Sage Chakra, and the duration of the Sage Mode was very short. For this reason, he also needed to summon the 2 Toad Sages, Fukasaku and Shima, to assist him. While strengthening his own combat power, he could also extend the duration of the Sage Mode. But a perfect sage like Naruto is different. When he becomes proficient, Naruto can completely activate the Sage Mode in 1 second by closing his eyes and clapping his hands, just like the first Hokage, Tobirama Senju. Can Naruto in Sage Mode really beat Pain's 6 paths? The third Hokage didn't think so. Naruto's combat power on the light screen had surpassed Jiraiya. Even Jiraiya died at the hands of Pain's 6 paths. Can Naruto really do it? Don't worry, old man. The light curtain said that Nagato would be killed by Naruto's words. You also said that Nagato was killed by Naruto's words. I think Sakamo can understand the power of words the most. This situation does not mean that Naruto can defeat Pain's 6 paths. Sakamo, who was standing aside, was a little embarrassed when he heard this. If the person who spoke was not the third Hokage, he would probably grab the man's collar and give him 2 big slaps. But the person who said this was the third Hokage. Sakamo could only say helplessly, "Third Hokage, can you not involve me?" "Sorry, I just said it casually." Since the third Hokage said so, what else could Sakamo do? He could only pretend to be calm and nodded, and the matter was over. Old man, there is no point in you arguing with me here, let's continue to look at the light curtain. The development on the light curtain was indeed as Jiraiya said. He is a well-known best-selling author after all. If he can't even guess this plot, isn't he underestimating him? After Naruto finally killed Pain after many twists and turns, Nagato was approached by Naruto. At this time, Nagato's body was already on the verge of death. He really left all his handsome side to Yahiko. Then Nagato relaxed his mind and rushed to shoot the black stick to attack Naruto. As a result, he was frightened for a second by the pressure of Naruto's 9-tail. Naruto restrained the urge to avenge Jiraiya and let Nagato recount the above plot. After listening to it, Naruto was silent and cried, saying, "You 3, so good, all good, so good." Then he took out the Perseverance Ninja biography written by Jiraiya. After Nagato learned from Naruto that the protagonist in the teacher's book was actually me, he was so surprised that his body was almost shaken apart. Apparently, Nagato has been lost for too long and has forgotten his promise to Jiraiya to lift the curse on this world. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 233. End of Nagato's inventory. Naruto continued to shout and said that he would bring peace to Yagaku. Nagato was completely influenced by Naruto and began to call him brother. He entrusted his and Yahayako's ideals to Naruto and used the Samsara technique to revive the victims of this battle. In the end, he ran out of life and passed away. The effect of the Samsara technique was very powerful. It directly revived all the people who died this time. Seeing such an explosive scene, everyone's eyes widened. Among them, Orochimaru said to Jiraiya, "I have a bold idea." The two of them are indeed good friends. When Orochimaru said this, Jiraiya knew what he was thinking. You don't want to make Nagato a resurrection tool for our Konoha, do you? What's wrong with this? Orochimaru did not deny it, because he really thought so. What's wrong with it? Let's not talk about whether Nagato will agree. Using the Samsara technique will cost you your life. It's just life. Can't you just revive it with a clone? Orochimaru's words made Jiraiya silent. Indeed. It's just a life. It's nothing in front of the clone resurrection technique. Orochimaru, we all have the clone resurrection technique, why do you still need the reincarnation rebirth technique? The third generation Hokage was a little puzzled. Anyway, it's all resurrection. What's the difference between clone resurrection and reincarnation resurrection? Old man. Hearing the question of the third generation Hokage, Orochimaru secretly curled his lips and continued. Making clones also requires money. The clones must develop quickly and try not to affect the upper limit of their strength after resurrection. This requires a lot of money. The third generation Hokage didn't know much about this. Since he handed over the power to Jiraiya, he rarely cared about the affairs of the village. He only knew that the clones cost a lot of money, but he didn't know how much it would cost. So what you mean is that after having the reincarnation technique, we only need to clone Nagato's body, and then use this resurrection technique to directly resurrect the person who was resurrected by the impure world reincarnation? Yes, that's what I mean. To be honest, after knowing Orochimaru's plan, Jiraiya was still very tempted. The development of the village cannot be separated from money. If we can save some money on cloning and use the money saved in other places, it will also be a good thing for the village. No, since cloning will cost a lot of money, why did you make so many clones of Danzo? Well, Orochimaru first glanced at the third Hokage. It was the old man who asked him to clone more Danzo bodies, not him willingly. Danzo's clones are different from others, because they don't need to consider the development cycle, nor do they need to consider whether the upper limit of their strength will be affected after resurrection, so his clones are inferior products among inferior products. The money for a normal clone can make a lot of Danzo clones. It's too early to say this now, everything depends on whether Nagato agrees. Jiraiya waved his hand. If Orochimaru wants to implement his idea smoothly, he needs Nagato's cooperation. At present, Nagato and them are still in the hostile stage. Before Nagato collects the chakra of the nine-tailed beasts, Jiraiya is really not sure that he can convince Nagato. Did he want him to tell Nagato that your Samsara eye is actually Uchiha Madara's, and the so-called capture of the tailed beast is also a trick they tricked you into? Nagato, who has not even read a few books, would believe it. In his cognition, the Samsara eye has been with him since he was a child. The plan to capture the tailed beast was also decided by him. Nagato would never believe these so-called truths. This is just an idea of mine. It would be great if it succeeds, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't. Just when Jiraiya nodded, thinking that Orochimaru was pragmatic this time, he heard him continue to say, I only need the Samsara eye. It doesn't matter whether Nagato agrees or not. It can only be said that Orochimaru is worthy at being Orochimaru. He doesn't care about Nagato's life or death. In his opinion, the Samsara natural technique is a built-in Samsara eye. When the time comes, just find someone who is not afraid of death and install the Samsara eye on him. Orochimaru doesn't care about the rejection reaction of the bloodliner. Anyway, you'll die after using it, so it doesn't matter whether it is rejected or not. Impossible, even if Nagato joins Konoha, I won't let you take his Samsara eye away. Ha, that's hard to say. Orochimaru licked his lips confidently. He was still a little confident that he could persuade Nagato to give up the Samsara eye. It all depends on whether you can persuade Nagato to return to Konoha, Jiraiya. The above conversation made me, the little master of Yaibin, Konan, speechless. It looked like when did you and Naruto get along? Wanted to say something, but in the end said nothing, could only. Click. Naruto saw this, could only. Click. Looking at the whole conversation, it seems that Nagato realized that he owed a lot of favors, suddenly regretted it, and then embarrassed himself to death. But after a little analysis, it can barely make sense. Konan then took Nagato away, and Konoha and Lion were destined to be bloody, and Konan would no longer be happy after this. To put it in a positive way, Nagato sacrificed himself to save Konan and completed his own redemption. To put it in a negative way, it was a decent suicide out of fear of crime. After this major event, until the Fourth Ninja War, Nagato was resurrected by the Impure World Resurrection and appeared again. After seeing Naruto, who was able to take charge of everything, he fully recognized Jiraiya's first work and gave a general evaluation of his second work. And hoped that Naruto, as the third part of the final chapter, would come to a successful conclusion. So far, Nagato, the tragic man in the ninja world, has been completely finished. Here, this up and many water friends sincerely wish that Nagato will one day be an excellent guy who can resist right well. Okay, the inventory video about Konan and Nagato ends here. Everyone remember to press and hold the like button, and click 3 times in a row. This is really important for up. We will see you in the next video. After watching the video, Jiraiya mentioned Nagato's samsara when communicating with Senju Tobirama. At the same time, Jiraiya also told Senju Tobirama about Orochimaru's idea. Senju Tobirama did not comment. They did not have much demand for resurrection. Since the development of cloning technology, Senju Tobirama only resurrected Senju Hashirama. He wanted to resurrect his parents and several brothers, but he could not find their bodies. Without body tissue, they could not be resurrected with souls. Without the soul in the impure body, they naturally could not be resurrected. Chapter 234 Jiraiya no Izumi. At 10 o'clock in the evening, the bustling Konoha village began to gradually quiet down. Most of the Konoha villagers who had worked hard all day had fallen asleep. Only a few vendors and patrolling ninjas were sticking to their posts. In a more remote place in the village, one of Orochimaru's laboratories was built here. Hurry up, finish it as soon as possible so that I can return to the Pure Land as soon as possible. In a room in the laboratory, Danzo, who was forcibly resurrected by Orochimaru, looked at the people in front of him. He no longer had any emotions such as fear, anger, and unwillingness, but was replaced by calmness and indifference. At this time, Danzo was like a monk, who saw through everything in the world. What power over the world and what transcendent status, all these things here were like passing clouds and smoke, and had nothing to do with him. Looking at such Danzo, Jiraiya and his party looked at each other, not knowing what the hell this guy was doing. Danzo? Are you crazy? Danzo glanced at Jiraiya who was talking, and replied calmly, You are crazy. Then what are you doing? Facing the surprised eyes of Jiraiya and others, Danzo still looked calm and replied, I am tired at being resurrected and killed by you so many times, so hurry up and do it. Orochimaru frowned when he heard it. Danzo's attitude made him very unhappy. He still liked to see the unruly Danzo. Thinking of this, Orochimaru decided to play a trick on Danzo to see if he was really so calm. Hehehe, I wanted to tell you a good news, but seeing you like this now, it seems that you don't need this good news. Danzo's heart moved when he heard it. In his current situation, the only thing that made him feel good news was about life. Could it be that Danzo's mind immediately became active again when he thought of a certain possibility? As the saying goes, no one wants to die if they can live. What good news? Seeing that Danzo couldn't help asking, Orochimaru's mouth twitched slightly, revealing a smile of success. Jiraiya, let me tell you. Jiraiya interrupted Orochimaru, indicating that he would tell this good news in person. Orochimaru didn't care, waved his hand, and signaled Jiraiya to continue. Danzo, I will give you a reward because you provided us with the information about 5 of the 6 paths of pain. Reward? Yes, I, Jiraiya, am a person who clearly distinguishes between rewards and punishments. You will be punished for your mistakes and rewarded for your merits. Hearing this, Danzo's heartbeat and breathing inevitably began to speed up. He finally suppressed his excitement and asked in a slightly trembling voice, What is your reward? Of course it's what you want most. At this moment, Danzo's right hand was shaking more and more, and he was as excited as if he had a child with a malady. Seeing this, Jiraiya didn't keep the secret any longer and said, I've decided to reward you with a life. What do you mean? It means literally. Ha ha ha. After getting Jiraiya's affirmative answer, Danzo finally couldn't hold back any longer and started laughing out loud. However, Danzo, who was immersed in excitement, didn't see that the people around him looked at him with pity in their eyes. The third Hokage sighed and turned his head, not wanting to see Danzo's disappointment. Elder Danzo, are you happy? Happy, of course I'm happy, ha ha ha. It's good to be happy. I brought you such good news, shouldn't you say thank you to me? What? Danzo stopped laughing and looked at Jiraiya in surprise. He thought the other party would take this opportunity to give him some difficult questions. In the end, all he had to do was say thank you. Huh? Didn't you hear? Say thank you. Oh, okay, thank you, Jiraiya. Seeing that Danzo finally said thank you to him, Jiraiya was also very happy. After he finished boasting to Orochimaru in the office, Danzo no longer had any value to live. Sayakuma-senpai. What is it? God Amy. Noise unmute. The Yanbu had its own set of code words. As the Yanbu chief at the time, Hatake Sayakuma certainly knew what this meant. Yes. Sayakuma held the short sword at his waist with his right hand, and with a flash of the sword, Danzo, who had no time to react, died just like that. A few minutes later, as Danzo was resurrected again, he started to curse Jiraiya the first time he saw him. Jiraiya, you bastard, you are not a human being. You promised to reward me with 1 life, but you actually went back on your word. I really fuck you. Ha ha, you were more comfortable like this. Jiraiya did not blame Danzo for the dirty words he cursed at him. Instead, he leisurely dug his ears and said, I originally wanted to kill you 10 times, but now I only killed you 9 times. Does this count as rewarding you with 1 life? Fuck you. Hearing this, Danzo, who was mentally broken, cursed even more dirty. Sayakuma-senpai, continue. Yes. About half an hour later, Jiraiya walked out of the laboratory refreshed. Except for Uzumaki Naruto, who was a little dissatisfied with this, the demeanor of others was also pretty good. Naruto, how do you feel? It seems that I don't feel anything. In order to change their son's naive ideas, whenever there was an activity to kill Danzo, Kushina and Minato would bring Naruto to watch. No matter how violent and bloody the process was, they would force Naruto to watch it. After a few times, there were some effects. Mom, won't Sasuke go back with us? I guess he wants to ask Orochimaru when he will revive his parents. In the laboratory, Sasuke questioned Orochimaru just as Kushina said. Don't be impatient, Sasuke-kun. Orochimaru ignored Sasuke's bad attitude and took him to the 2 large glass jars containing the clones of Fuku and Mukatao. In order to minimize the impact on Fuku's strength, I deliberately spent more than 2 months to develop this clone. Hearing Orochimaru say this, his face looked better. As a disciple of Orochimaru, he still knew a little about cloning technology. He knew that this cheap teacher was not lying. How long would it take for these 2 clones to mature? Not long, according to my estimate, they will be fully mature in a week at most. A week? Yes. Okay, I'll wait another week. After saying that, Sasuke turned around and left the laboratory. Next, let me try to see if I can revive someone after splitting their soul. As for the person being tested, it is of course our resurrection model worker, Brother Danzo. When Orochimaru thought of the impact that would be brought about by the success of this experiment, he couldn't help but drool. TSK, the female body is troublesome. He casually found a piece of paper to wipe the water, and Orochimaru muttered to himself. It seems that I have to find a time to change back to a male body. Chapter 235 Tsunade returns to the village. In order to verify the feasibility of splitting the soul to revive multiple people, Orochimaru stayed in the laboratory for several days. After such a sleepless research, Orochimaru finally got some results. TSK, the resurrection can be resurrected, but the effect is not very good. In an ordinary room, Orochimaru looked at the 8 Danzo standing in front of him with a helpless look. The eyes are dull, the movements are rigid, and there is no self-awareness at all, just like a puppet. The scene in front of him is a bit weird. If Orochimaru's experiment is successful, these resurrected Danzos have no self-awareness and can only passively obey the orders of others. They will do what others tell them to do. And this others does not only refer to Orochimaru, but also to other people. As long as the order is received, no matter who it is, they can instruct Danzo to work. Moreover, these orders cannot be too complicated, and can only do some simple work such as running errands and picking up things. It is really a bit pitiful. But to say that the resurrection failed, that is not considered a failure. After all, Danzo was indeed resurrected. His body was a clone of Danzo, and his soul was his own, but each clone only had 1/8 of the soul. With a body and a soul, how could it not be considered a resurrection? This is a bit useless. Originally, Orochimaru had imagined that if this experiment was successful, he could split out many of himself. With multiple selves doing research together, he would surely be able to come up with something earth-shattering. At worst, he could revive the same strong man multiple times, and in this way, he could really dominate the entire ninja world. Unfortunately, this experiment was not satisfactory, and a very useless thing was produced. Forget it, even a piece of toilet paper will have its use, and these unconscious danzos can just be used as consumables. Consumables? Yes, consumables. As we all know, the strength of a person who is resurrected using the impure world reincarnation technique depends entirely on the quality of the sacrifice. At present, Orochimaru has done his best to optimize the impure world reincarnation. But the maximum it can achieve is to make the impure world reincarnation body have about 50% of its peak strength, no more. Now that we have such a batch of danzo consumables, we can put the improvement of impure world reincarnation on the agenda again. I don't know if it will work if I inject Hashirama cells into danzo and use the special properties of these cells to strengthen the strength of the impure world reincarnation body. Who cares? It's cheap to clone danzo anyway, so let's give it a try. Just when Orochimaru was busy with further improvement of impure world reincarnation, at the entrance of Konoha village, a female ninja with long light yellow hair, bright brown eyes, light red lips, red nails, fair skin and a broad mind appeared in front of the two Konoha gate guards. Tsunade-sama. Tsunade-sama, you're back. Oh, it's Ichimoyo and Kotetsu. This sexy woman with a hot body is Tsunade, one of the three ninjas. I remember you were guarding the gate before I left the village. You are still guarding the gate after so many years. Tsunade's casual words made the two gate gods feel a little embarrassed. It's not that they don't work hard, it's just that their talents are limited, and they can only be a special genin at best. If they want to be promoted to a formal genin, with their strength, I'm afraid it will never be possible in this lifetime. Just work hard, I'll go in first. Tsunade-sama, do you need someone to notify the 5th Hokage? The 5th Hokage? Oh, you mean Jiraiya? No need to notify him, I can go find him myself. Okay, Tsunade-sama. Shijin, let's go. Tsunade waved her hand slightly and called out to the pure and beautiful girl who followed her with a pick in her arms. Yes, Tsunade-sama. Although Tsunade didn't ask Ichimoyo to send someone to notify Jiraiya, Jiraiya knew about her return the first time. Tsunade is back, I don't know if she will give the old man a beating. In order to get Tsunade to come back, Jiraiya fabricated a story in the name of the 3rd Hokage that the village had resurrected the 1st and 2nd Hokage. Now it seems that this story is still very effective. After receiving the news, Tsunade immediately brought Shijin back. However, Jiraiya looked at Shijin in the crystal ball with a slightly strange expression. He thought of Orochimaru's teasing of him when he was watching the video of Kato-dan. Jiraiya, put it here. Even if I can't get married, live alone, and die alone in the future, I will not do anything to Shijin. I'm not a beast like Orochimaru, who has no sense of propriety and shame. Hehehe. At about the same time, the 3rd Hokage, who was patrolling Konoha with a crystal ball at home, also found Tsunade and Shijin. Tsunade was really tricked back by Jiraiya. The moment he saw Tsunade, the 3rd Hokage was first happy. All 3 students returned to the village, which made him, as a teacher, feel very relieved. After the relief, he was scared. He knew how Tsunade came back. It was Jiraiya, the traitor bastard, who tricked Tsunade back in his name. If Tsunade knew that she was cheated, she would really beat him up. I don't know if my old bones can withstand a few more punches from Tsunade. According to her memory, Tsunade came to the door of the Hokage's office in the office building smoothly. Without knocking, Tsunade kicked the door open and walked in. Hey, I'm the Hokage now, you should at least give me some face and knock on the door. Waving his hand, a Nanbu ninja appeared in front of Jiraiya, lifted the door panel out tactfully, and stood at the door, acting as a guard. Stop talking nonsense, you know why I came back, tell me where the great-grandfather and the second grandfather are. Don't be in a hurry. When the time came, Jiraiya did not panic, but pointed to the empty office door and said, this door is the new door I replaced after I took office as Hokage. Since we are old friends, I will charge you the cost price. You actually want me to pay for it? Tsunade widened her eyes and looked at Jiraiya in surprise. How refreshing. Even if I, the Hokage, damage public property, I still have to pay for it. Seeing Jiraiya's tough attitude, Tsunade knew that she would definitely pay for it. It's just a door. Tell me, how much is it? Tsunade showed disdain. She had been gambling outside for many years and owed a lot of debt. She certainly didn't have a lot of money, but she felt that she had enough money to pay for a door. Chapter 236. Tsunade leaves again. It's not expensive. This door is made of pen and mu. You know, pen and mu is precious. It's such a big piece. Well, I'll charge you 1,000,000 taels. Mr. Giorgio. 1,000,000 taels. Hearing that she had to pay so much money, Hiruzen immediately pulled Tsunade's clothes carefully and whispered, "Tsunade-sama, we don't seem to have that much money." At this time, Tsunade's face was so beautiful. Sometimes it was livid, sometimes dark, and sometimes she gritted her teeth, which made Jiraiya's heart beat wildly. "Jiraiya, you are looking for death, right? You're blackmailing me for money." "What do you mean by blackmail?" "I have the receipt here." Jiraiya took out a receipt from the drawer. "Here." Taking the receipt from Jiraiya's hand, Tsunade took a closer look and found that this guy really didn't lie. After knowing this, Tsunade's attitude immediately took a 180-degree turn. "Well, we haven't seen each other for so many years. It's tacky to talk about money as soon as we meet. By the way, I'll take Hiruzen home to clean up first. Don't come to me if you have anything to do." After saying this, he ran away in the blink of an eye without waiting for Jiraiya to react. "Well, I'm so sorry, Master Jiraiya. I'm going to find Master Tsunade. Goodbye." Hiruzen bowed to Jiraiya awkwardly, and then ran out of the office. "Hehe, I haven't seen you for many years, but Tsunade's personality hasn't changed. For the sake of the receipt, she won't want to see me for a while." Knowing that Tsunade was coming back, how could Jiraiya not be prepared? It's said that the three ninjas know each other very well. Jiraiya just based on his understanding of Tsunade, so he made such a scene now. What was installed when the Hokage took office? What was made of parent and mu? What receipt? It's all fake, all fake. Next, the pressure will be on the old man. Ha ha ha. In the next 2 days, just as Jiraiya expected, Tsunade never looked for him again. The trick he used to coax her back finally gave away the truth. Jiraiya didn't know whether Tsunade beat up the Third Hokage or not. He only knew that the Third Hokage had an old illness and needed to recuperate at home for a while. "Jiraiya, you guys are really amazing. You actually lie to me like this." In the Hokage's office, Tsunade, who looked angry, found Jiraiya. The powerful aura instantly reminded Jiraiya of the fear of being dominated by Tsunade when he was a child. "Tsunade, we're familiar with each other, but if you say that again, I will sue you for defamation." "You can sue anywhere." The angry Tsunade slammed the table and continued, "Do you really think I'm an idiot? If you don't agree with you as the Hokage, would they do this?" "Well, this is my opinion. I apologize." Humph. Seeing Jiraiya's embarrassed expression, Tsunade suddenly changed her attitude after a cold snort. It was as if the person with an angry face just now was not her. Tsunade waved her hand and said generously, "Since you know you were wrong, I forgive you." Jiraiya widened his eyes and looked at Tsunade in disbelief. If she'd forgiven just like this. Isn't it a little too simple? Tsunade's attitude made Jiraiya very uneasy. "Of course, as compensation, the small treasury you put under the third wooden board under the bed will be used to make amends to me. That's it. Goodbye, no, never see you again." Tsunade came back like a gust of wind and left like a madman. "Stop, Tsunade. I have something to tell you." Seeing Tsunade was leaving, Jiraiya tried to hold back the grief at his own treasury being robbed and wanted to call Tsunade. As a result, Tsunade thought that Jiraiya wanted to take back her treasury and ran faster. Tsunade. Seeing Tsunade disappear from his sight, Jiraiya sighed and did not continue to persuade her to stay. He originally wanted Tsunade to stay in Konoha. After all, the ninja world would definitely not be too peaceful in the next period of time. Tsunade was walking alone with Hiruzen, and Jiraiya was a little worried about her safety. However, he saw that Tsunade had no attachment to Konoha, so he gave up the idea of forcing Tsunade to stay in the village. "I hope it won't affect her. Tsunade-sama, is it really okay for us to leave like this?" Tsunade and Hiruzen, who had already left Konoha, were on their way to the fire capital. During this time, Hiruzen felt that Tsunade's decision was a bit hasty. Why not leave? Stay for the new year? After hearing what Hiruzen said, Tsunade looked in the direction of Konoha and continued, "Jiraiya is doing a good job, and with the assistance of Minato and the old man, Konoha now doesn't need me to be more or less. In this case, it's better to stay outside the village freely. But I still think that it's a bit too much for you to put the bill for the money you lost in the casino in Jiraiya-sama's name." "Really?" Tsunade pondered for a while and felt that she seemed to be a little too much. But Tsunade is Tsunade after all. After blaming herself for a while, she returned to her usual state. Well, Jiraiya is the Hokage now, he will definitely find a way to pay off the money. As she said that, she patted Shijin's shoulder. Shijin, we have to speed up, I can't wait to start the next bet. After that, she accelerated forward and left Shijin behind. Tsunade-sama, wait for me. Seeing Tsunade speed up, Shijin had no choice but to follow. Recently, Kushina has been teaching Sakura some basic knowledge of sealing techniques. Adhering to the principle of teaching 1 is teaching 2 is also teaching, she also asked Karin from Orochimaru to teach together. During this period, both Sakura and Karin left a deep impression on Kushina. Karin, needless to say, like Kushina, belongs to the Uzumaki clan. People in this clan have a very high talent for sealing techniques. But Sakura is different. Her parents are not ninjas, but just ordinary civilians in Konoha village. Even without the blessing of Bloodliner, Sakura's talent for controlling chakra is top-notch in Kushina's opinion. With such talent, Sakura is indeed a good candidate for learning medical ninjutsu. She originally wanted to find an opportunity to tell Tsunade, who had just returned to the village, about Sakura. As a result, after only 2 days, Tsunade left the village again and disappeared. This made Kushina feel very sorry. Yakushi Kabuto went to Raichi Cave to learn fairy arts, and he hasn't come back yet. I don't know if he died there. Senior Tsunade has left the village again. It seems that Sakura has to learn sealing techniques from me for a while. Chapter 237. Uneasy Unoki. There are only a few days left before the 5 Kage talks. Othnuki, who was originally sitting on the Daiotai, is now very irritable and uneasy. Because in the recent period, the 4-tailed Jinchuuriki Laozi and the 5-tailed Jinchuuriki Han have disappeared one after another. Thinking of the news from the 4th Hokage that the Akatsuki organization was capturing Jinchuuriki, Othnuki instantly determined that the disappearance of the 2 Jinchuuriki must be related to the Akatsuki organization. The disappearance of the 4-tailed Jinchuuriki Laozi is fine. After all, this guy doesn't get along with Othnuki and has been traveling outside the village. If he disappears, he disappears. Othnuki will just treat this person as someone who doesn't exist in the Hidden Rock village. But the 5-tailed Jinchuuriki Han is different. He is not as rebellious as Laozi, and he is also very convinced of Othnuki. He is one of the rare high-end combat forces in the Hidden Rock village. Contact the Akatsuki organization and ask them if they really captured the 2 Jinchuuriki in our village. Because the Hidden Rock village and the Akatsuki organization had business dealings in the past, Othnuki knew some channels to contact the Akatsuki organization. Well, father, excuse me for being blunt, but I'm afraid Akatsuki won't admit it, right? I've told you so many times, you have to address me by my title when you're working. Okay, Lord Tsuchikage. Looking at his honest son, Othnuki sighed and said, it doesn't matter whether Akatsuki admits it or not. What's important is to show the attitude of our Iwagaku village. The 2 Jinchuuriki in the village are missing. If Iwagaku village does nothing, wouldn't it make people think that Iwagaku village is cowardly? Othnuki doesn't care whether Akatsuki did it or not. When everyone thinks it was done by them, the truth of the matter is no longer important. What's more, in the current ninja world, who else would capture Jinchuuriki besides their Akatsuki? By the way, when asking, you can be a little tougher. Okay, Lord Tsuchikage, I'll make the arrangements. Akatsuki of Rain Village. In order to seal all the tailed beasts as soon as possible, Black Zetsu was really worried. Not only did he personally urge Pain to order the members of the organization to capture the Jinchuuriki as quickly as possible, but he also made preparations for the war that might come later. How is it? Is there any news about the 6-tailed Jinchuuriki? The treacherous situation in the ninja world forced Nagato to speed up the pace of sealing the tailed beasts. Just now, Black Zetsu was found by him as soon as he returned to the Hidden Rain village, and it seemed that he was asking about the 6-tailed Jinchuuriki. Found it, in an unknown village in the Land of Water. That's good, I'll go there myself this time. Is this necessary? Black Zetsu was very surprised by Nagato's idea. In his opinion, to capture the 6-tailed Jinchuuriki, just send a group of people, and there is no need for Pain's 6 paths. Our recent actions to capture the Jinchuuriki are a bit big. As long as the Hidden Mist village is not stupid, they will definitely be prepared. Do you think that if you give this task to the others, they may fail? Yes. It must be said that Nagato's worries are indeed reasonable. Every official member of the Akatsuki organization is very strong. But if they really have to face one of the 5 great ninja villages, the entire Akatsuki organization, except for Nagato's 6 paths of pain, the rest are really no match. Wasn't the Third Hokage strong enough back then? He had mastered the ninjutsu to the peak, and his physical defense was unparalleled in the world. What was the result? He was still overwhelmed by the human wave tactics of the Hidden Rock village. Notify Itachi and the others, let them have a good rest these 2 days, and start sealing immediately after I capture the Six-Tailed Jinchuriki. Okay, I'll notify them. As soon as Tendo Pain left, a rain ninja, that is, an outer member of the Akatsuki organization, came to the base. What are you doing here? Zetsu knew that this person was the main contact person for the Akatsuki organization to accept external employment tasks. As the Akatsuki organization had begun to capture the tailed beasts, the external employment window had long been closed. Master Ji, I'm here to see the leader. The leader has left for something. If it's not important, you can come back in a few days. This. Seeing that the man was hesitant, Ji became interested and asked in a kind tone. Is the matter important? I don't know whether it is important or not. Then how about you tell me first? This man also knew that the status of a formal member of the organization was as different as heaven and earth compared to these peripheral members. Facing the inquiries of formal members, he could not refuse. The thing is, Iwagaku. The Jinchuriki is missing. Inquiry, so that's how it is. I already know the matter. This. How do we need to reply to Iwagaku? Reply. Why do we need to reply? Just drag it out. Is this okay? Why not? Just do as I say, understand? I understand. After receiving Ji's order, the contact person left worriedly. Standing there, Zetsu looked at the direction where Tendo Pain left and whispered, fortunately, Pain left, otherwise, with Nagato's personality, he would have admitted it directly. Then why didn't you let the person deny it just now? At this time, the white Zetsu attached to the black Zetsu spoke for the first time. Whether it is denial or admission, it doesn't make sense in my opinion. Now we just need to delay time. Just as Nagato and Konan set off for the Land of Water to capture the Six-Tailed Jinchuriki, Tsunade brought Shijin to the Land of Water. Lady Tsunade, why are we here? As someone who was brought up by Tsunade, Shijin knew Tsunade very well. After traveling in the ninja world for so many years, Tsunade rarely went abroad and spent most of her time in the Land of Fire. Firstly, it was because the Land of Fire was the richest country in the ninja world, and the casino industry here was also the most developed. Secondly, it was also because most of Tsunade's connections were in the Land of Fire. If she lost money in the casino, she would also need these connections to pay back the money. The title of princess is not for nothing. She is really related to the daimyo of the Land of Fire. So, Shijin was very surprised why Tsunade came to the economically underdeveloped Land of Take It. After staying in the Land of Fire for a long time, you need to come out and change your mood occasionally. Shijin didn't believe a word of what Tsunade said. She guessed that Lady Tsunade was probably tired of gambling in the Land of Fire and wanted to experience the casinos in other countries. However, as Tsunade's little follower, she also knew what to ask and what not to ask. So, Lady Tsunade, where are we going now? Of course, we're going to the nearest casino. Upon hearing this, Shijin, who had confirmed her guess, immediately muttered in a low voice, Hectares, I knew that Lady Tsunade would never change her gender. Shijin, what are you talking about? Shijin waved her hands and explained in a panic. I want to ask, Lady Tsunade, do you know where the casino is here? I don't know. Then you still, Tsunade rolled her eyes at Shijin and continued. But we can ask. What? Go ask. Oh, I'll go right away. Looking at Shijin, who was panicking and looking for passers-by to ask about the location of the casino, Tsunade stood there with her arms folded across her chest, frowning and thinking about something that the Third Hokage told her when she returned to the village some time ago. TSK, this damn old man, he really knows how to cause trouble for me. Chapter 238. Conflict at the 5-Kage tournament. When the 5-Kage conference was about to be held, suddenly, a piece of news broke out from the Land of Water. That is, the Six-Tailed Jinchuriki was captured. Not only that, a large number of mist ninjas were sacrificed in this battle. It is reported that the 5th Mizukage Madarima was very angry about this and urgently hoped that the 5-Kage conference would be held in advance. And she herself was already on the way to the Land of Iron. As I expected, the Hidden Mist village is prepared. Nagato, who successfully brought the six-tailed Jinchuriki back to the Hidden Rain village, did not stop at all. He immediately notified the members of the organization through the ring and prepared to seal the six-tailed. Pain, you are still cautious enough. If this arrest plan was replaced by other members to carry out, it would most likely fail. As one of the 5 major ninja villages, the Hidden Mist village actually lived a miserable life. The elite plan in the Blood Mist advocated by the Third Hokage caused the Hidden Mist village to lose many low-level ninjas. However, the mid and high-end combat power of the Hidden Mist village has indeed increased a lot. The Fourth Hokage, under the control of Madara and Obito, began to intensify the Blood Mist plan and expanded it to the bloodline of families. The principle of killing the wrong ones rather than letting them go is applied to the bloodline of families, which caused the strength of the Hidden Mist village to decline significantly. If it weren't for the Sand village, the Hidden Mist village would have been the weakest of the 5 major ninja villages. Fortunately, in recent years, with the rise of Madara, the Hidden Mist village began to recuperate, and elite ninjas such as Chojuro were born in the village. Kizum, Itachi and others are indeed very strong, the kind that can beat more than a dozen Jonins alone. But the number of Jonins in the Hidden Mist village is not just a dozen. Maybe the strength of these Jonins is a bit weak, but in the face of absolute numbers, even formal members of the Akatsuki organization can only run away if they don't want to die. Stop talking nonsense, Zetsu. After the 6 tails is sealed, I hope to hear about the 7 tails Jinchuriki. No problem. I already know the whereabouts of the 7 tails Jinchuriki. You can know whenever you want. That's good. Under the urging of both Nuki and Madara, the 5-Hokage conference, which was watched by the entire ninja world, was finally held in the neutral Iron country. Just like the original work, the person in charge of presiding over this meeting was still the general of the Iron country, Mifune. What a handsome guy, I wonder if you are married. As soon as Madara entered the venue, she immediately saw Minato Namikaze standing behind Jiraiya. Sorry, 5th Hokage, I'm already married. Is that so? That's a pity. Madara said she was sorry, but her eyes were on another guard of Jiraiya, Hatake Seikumo. Forget this, you look too ordinary, and you are not in my mate selection criteria. These words almost broke Seikumo's defense. To be honest, Hatake Seikumo is not the kind of handsome guy who can be attracted at first sight. He is the kind of handsome guy who is more attractive the more you look at him. He is definitely not the ordinary-looking person described by Madara. Of course, compared with Minato Namikaze, Seikumo's appearance is indeed a little worse. If Minato's appearance is 10 points, then Seikumo's appearance is only 6 points at most. Ha 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 ha, Senior Seikumo, I told you to learn from Kakashi and wear a mask. Standing next to Minato, anyone will become ordinary. Jiraiya laughed out loud when he heard what Madara said, and teased Minato by the way. That's right. Seikumo touched his cheek, nodded, and continued. Those little girls like Minato's type. Teacher Jiraiya, Senior Seikumo, stop joking. Minato seemed helpless about the two people's teasing. Although he is the 4th generation Hokage, the two people who teased him, one is a teacher and the other is a senior, he felt a little bad no matter how he refuted. You are the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze? Originally, Madara hadn't recognized Minato. She just thought that the 5th Hokage's guard had a very nice and sunny smile, and she was a little moved by him. It was only after she heard what Jiraiya and Seikumo said that she realized that the handsome guy in front of her who made her heart beat was actually the 4th Hokage of Konoha. Let the 4th Hokage be your guard, 5th Hokage, you are so powerful. As soon as the 4th Hokage entered the scene, he broke the friendly atmosphere created by Konoha and Kurigaya, which made Jiraiya and Madara very dissatisfied. Among them, Madara even said, "Muscle man, so shameless." The 4th Hokage. Regardless of Awai's gloomy face, Madara turned to Chojuro and said, "Chojuro, you must not become a muscle man like this in the future. It's too disgusting." The 4th Hokage had never suffered such grievances before, and he immediately slammed the table angrily and asked Madara with gritted teeth, "Sir, the 5th Hokage, who are you calling disgusting?" Madara rolled her eyes and replied, "Whoever responds is disgusting. This is too much." The 4th Hokage roared, and immediately wanted to hit Madara without thinking about it. Fortunately, his right and left hands Dari and 11 reacted quickly, and they hugged their own Hokage with all their strength. Otherwise, Kamugaku and Kurigaku might have had a fight before the meeting. Ha, 4th Hokage, it seems that after the village destruction incident, you still haven't made any progress. At this time, Oath Nuki, who was carried by Hokages, and Kurosaki followed him into the meeting room. Relying on his age and seniority, he started to mock the fourth Hokage as soon as he came in. "You are so old and still hold on to the position of such Hokage. I don't know if you are greedy for power or if there is no successor. Fourth Hokage, you." Hearing the reply from Hokage AI, Othnuki seemed very angry. The Hidden Rock Village is indeed like what the fourth Hokage said, there is a feeling of no successor. Wantu is strong enough and can also subdue the people in the village, but his character is too straightforward. For an upright person, it is okay to let him be a captain or a department head, but he can't become a Hokage. As for Akato and Kurosachi, Akato is more straightforward than Wantu, and has reached the category of simple and honest. Othnuki thinks that Wantu is not suitable, let alone Akato. Kurosachi has a very cheerful personality and active thoughts, but his strength is not good enough. After thinking about it, there is really no one in the Hidden Rock Village that Othnuki thinks can become such Hokage. "We are not late, are we?" Just when Othnuki was injured by the words of Hokage AI, Gaara, who had just resurrected, entered the venue with Kyo, Temari, and Kankuro. When they saw the arrival, Hokage AI and Othnuki frowned at the same time. "Elder Kyo, don't tell me that the fifth Hokage of your sand village is such a little kid." Facing Othnuki's question, Kyo replied calmly, "Yes, Gaara is the fifth Hokage of Sand Village, and he will take office immediately after the 5 Hokage conference is over." Haha, it seems that Sand Village is even worse than Rock Village, choosing a little kid as Hokage. Othnuki was thoughtful and could bear it when he heard what Hokage AI said. But Gaara didn't want to bear it. No matter how miserable Sand Village is, it can't compare to Cloud Village. Even the village has been destroyed. It's really too pitiful. After saying this, Gaara immediately waved his hand and pointed at Hokage AI. In an instant, a large amount of yellow sand appeared and began to flow towards the Hokage. Chapter 239 Minato. "Give me a face, kid, you are too presumptuous." Facing the surging yellow sand, Hokage AI was not afraid at all. He burst out his lightning chakra and rushed towards the yellow sand. With the swiftness of thunder, the yellow sand could not stop the Hokage's attack at all. "Gaara, be careful." Seeing the Hokage coming fiercely, Temari opened the 3-star fan and Kankuro also took out the puppet. The two stood in front of Gaara and wanted to stop the Hokage. "Get out of the way." Unfortunately, whether it was Temari or Kankuro, they were not even a match for the Hokage. With just one punch and one kick, the Hokage knocked the two people who were blocking him away. At this time, Gaara stood there without moving, as if he was scared silly. "Kid, pay the price for your arrogance." Hokage AI shouted, raised his fist with condensed lightning chakra, and attacked Gaara's face. At this moment, a sand wall composed of yellow sand suddenly appeared in front of the Hokage. Bang! The powerful attack hit the sand wall, and a dull sound erupted. Gaara just defended against the attack of Hokage AI. "Not bad, kid, it seems that you still have some strength, so how about this?" If Hokage AI just wanted to teach Gaara a lesson, let him know that the world of adults is very cruel, not like a child like him who is playing house. But after the attack was blocked, Hokage AI also restrained some of his contemptuous emotions and officially regarded Gaara as an opponent. Just when Hokage AI wanted to continue to attack Gaara, a golden figure flashed in front of Hokage AI. "AI, how about we have a meeting first?" "Minato, you want to stop me?" The person who suddenly appeared in front of AI was Konoha's 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze. The reason why Minato did not call AI the Hokage was that he wanted to persuade him based on the friendship between the two during the Third World War. After all, this is the place where the 5 Hokage conference is held. Even if they don't give face to the host country of Iron, they still need to consider the Hokages of the other 3 major ninja villages, right? AI also knew this, so he had no objection to Minato's persuasion. However, in order to maintain his power as the Hokage, he still fired a mouth cannon at Gaara. "Kid, for the sake of the 4th Hokage, I will let you go this time." Gaara had no expression on his face for the Hokage AI's remarks. He just replied lightly, "Really?" Then he motioned to the Hokage AI to turn around and look behind him. It would have been better if he didn't look at it. As soon as he looked at it, the Hokage AI was instantly angry again. Because behind him, Derry and 11 had been wrapped into a pile of sand by Gaara. Judging from the runes that appeared on the surface of the sand, he actually used a sealing technique. As long as Gaara wanted, he could kill these two people in an instant. "Asshole kid, let them go quickly." After saying that, the Hokage AI burst out the lightning release chakra for the second time. If he hadn't been concerned about the safety of his right and left hands, he really wanted to punch Gaara to death. God Hokage, can you please let this go for my sake? Minato was also exhausted. He had just persuaded Raikage, and Gaara here was in trouble again. Minato only hoped that Gaara would give him some face because he was Naruto's father. Otherwise, this 5-Hokage conference would probably become a joke. Okay. Gaara nodded, agreed to Minato's mediation, and immediately released Derry and Nozomi. Hectors as soon as the two got out of trouble, they immediately began to breathe heavily. Derry, Nozomi, are you two okay? Raikage looked at Gaara deeply, and walked in front of Derry and Nozomi. Boss, we're fine, it's just too stuffy in the sand. Yeah, it's so stuffy that it's hard to even breathe. Seeing that the two were indeed fine, Raikage snorted coldly and sat back in his seat. Gaara, seeing that the Raikage did not continue to make trouble, asked about Temari and Kankuro's situation, and after receiving the answer that they were fine, he also sat in the seat belonging to the Sand Village. Mifune, who was responsible for presiding over the meeting, saw that the situation had calmed down, and began to perform the duties of the host. Ahem. Since all the participants have arrived, I declare that the 5-Hokage conference has officially begun. Although it was said to have begun, none of the 5-Hokage spoke first. Sand Village and Konoha were not in a hurry. The anxious ones were Kamugaku, Iwagaku, and Karigaku. Among the 3 ninja villages, Kamugaku was the most anxious. Who told them that their villages were destroyed by the Akatsuki organization? As for who hated the Akatsuki organization the most, it must be Kamugaku. Tsuchikage, Mizukage, since neither of you is talking, I'll speak first. Sure enough, Raikage was the first to lose his temper and spoke first. I propose that our 5 major ninja villages form an elite ninja force together to fight against the Akatsuki organization. As soon as this was said, Tsuchikage Othnuki immediately followed up and said, there is no problem in forming a ninja force together, the question is, who will lead this force? In dealing with the Akatsuki organization, the positions of Iwagaku and Kamugaku are the same. But Othnuki doesn't want to hand over the power to lead this force. He can only trust others. It was Kamugaku who proposed to hold the 5-Hokage conference, and it was also me who spoke up to form a ninja force, so the leadership of this force should belong to our Kamugaku. Hearing this, Othnuki sneered and said, if that's the case, then you Kamugaku can play by yourselves, and we Iwagaku will not accompany you. After that, Othnuki began to call Akaji and Kurosachi to leave. Mifune immediately jumped out upon seeing this and said to Othnuki, Lord Tsuchikage, please don't act on impulse. I'm not acting on impulse. Judging from the current situation of the Hidden Cloud Village, they are indeed not suitable to lead this unit. When everyone present heard this, except for the Hidden Cloud Village, they all nodded. The Hidden Cloud Village now is not comparable to the Hidden Cloud Village in the past. After being attacked by the Super Shinra Tensei by Tendo Pain, its overall strength has reached the bottom level among the 5 major ninja villages. During the peak period of the Hidden Cloud Village, the Third Hokage, Othnuki did not obey them, let alone the current weakest Hidden Cloud Village. Similarly, Othnuki of Sand Village and Mist Village did not take them seriously. The only one that he was afraid of was Konoha. Haha, I think it's you Othnuki who wants the leadership of this unit. Yes, that's right, you're such a power-hungry person. Raikage knew that there was no way for the Hidden Cloud Village to get the leadership of this unit. However, if he couldn't lead, Othnuki couldn't think of leading either. No matter what, Othnuki is going to ruin this matter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 245 Villages United. The Raikage and Othnuki argued for almost half an hour about who would lead the elite troops. The other 3 ninja villages Kages were also happy to watch the two quarreling. Just treat it as a fun thing to watch. However, Mifune, as the host, was a little anxious. He did not expect that the Raikage of the Hidden Cloud Village and the Tsuchikage of the Hidden Rock Village would be like 2 gangsters, scolding each other in a meeting. And they were scolding about some bullshit leadership that had not even been discussed yet. Konoha, Tsunade, and Karigaku have not agreed yet. If they were to find out that the other 3 villages did not agree after they finished arguing, Mifune could imagine how embarrassing the scene would be. Ahem, you two, I have to remind you that Konoha, Karigaku, and Tsunade have not agreed to the formation of an elite force. When Othnuki and I heard this, the two who were still arguing fiercely were instantly stuck, and there was a rare embarrassment on their faces. So, they had been arguing here for a long time, but it was all in vain. The Hokages of the other 3 villages were also bad enough. They didn't even remind them and watched the show happily. It was really unreasonable. So, Konoha, Kirigaku, and Tsunade, do you agree? Othnuki adjusted his mentality in time, looked around, and asked in a deep voice. We in Kirigaku have no problem. Tsunade was the first to express her opinion, and then she looked at the Tsunade side. Tsunade still admired Gaara for daring to fight with Raikage. What does Konoha say? Gaara didn't answer directly, but kicked the question to Konoha. He looked like he was following Konoha's lead. Kyo, who was standing behind Gaara, was very pleased about this. In the current state of Tsunade, it is really not appropriate to express an opinion. Agree to form it. Tsunade can't produce any superb talents. In the entire Tsunade village, the strength of the older generation is only Kyo and her brother Ebietsu, and the younger generation is only Gaara and his 3 siblings to support the scene. The middle-aged and young generation is the worst off, with only 1 make it. It's really not good enough. But if they don't agree to the formation, the Sand Village will become the target of public criticism. After the coalition forces have dealt with the Akatsuki organization, they will definitely settle accounts with the Sand Village. For this reason, Gaara's response is very decent. Anyway, if Konoha agrees, they will agree, and if Konoha opposes, they will also oppose. Even if there is a problem at the time, they will go to Konoha to find trouble, not to the Sand Village. Jiraiya and Namikaze Minato noticed Gaara's thoughts, but they didn't care. With Naruto as a bridge, they have a good impression of Gaara. The attitude towards him is more like treating a junior. They don't care about such trivial thoughts. Have you ever thought about a problem? Jiraiya didn't directly say whether he agreed to form a joint force or not, but pointed out a very serious problem. Since the Ninja Village era, the ninja world has experienced 3 wars. During these 3 wars, we have accumulated a lot of hatred. It's okay at ordinary times because we don't live in the same place. Even if there are conflicts and hatred, we can't do anything to each other, but, at this point, Jiraiya crossed his hands on the table and continued with a serious expression. Once a joint force is formed, everyone will inevitably spend some time together. As the saying goes, enemies are particularly jealous when they meet. Can you guarantee that when 2 ninjas with hatred meet, they will not fight? The problem Jiraiya said is very realistic. If this problem cannot be solved, then there is no need for the Akatsuki organization to do anything. The coalition will fight on its own. Does Hokage have any good suggestions? Othnuki and Raikage both thought about the question raised by Jiraiya. They found that this problem seemed to have no solution. Raikage could suppress the hatred of his father's death at the hands of the Iwagaku ninja, but it doesn't mean that others can. To be honest, if he hadn't reminded himself that he was the Raikage, he would have run out of the Cloud Village and hunted Iwagaku ninjas everywhere. Unfortunately, I don't have any good suggestions. Through the light curtain, Jiraiya knew that in the original world line, the ninja world still successfully formed a huge ninja coalition. They abandoned their hatred for each other, just to defeat the enemy and bring peace to the ninja world. It's just that the time is different. The 2 situations are different and cannot be used directly. How about this? Just when Raikage and Othnuki fell into silence, Jiraiya said again, in the action against the Akatsuki organization, everyone will take care of their own business. What does Hokage mean, fight on their own? Jiraiya nodded, looked at Raikage who was speaking and replied, that's right, since everyone can't form a coalition because of hatred, it's better to fight each other. It must be said that this is indeed a solution. Raikage, who hated Akatsuki the most, wanted to agree on the spot. In his cognition, it didn't matter whether there was a coalition or not, as long as the other 4 villages agreed to send troops to fight Akatsuki together. Okay, I agree in principle that we can fight on our own. Raikage agreed to Jiraiya's plan, and Othnuki also agreed. Seeing that Raikage and Tsuchikage both agreed, Materumi of Kirigaku also calmly agreed to the plan. Needless to say, Sand Village should just follow Konoha's pace. Well, then, let's discuss some of the details. The 5 kids were discussing some details of the dispatch. Over there, the immortal duo of Akatsuki, Kakuza and Hiden, came to Takagaku. Kakuza-san, how do you feel about returning to Takagaku again? Just like before, it's still so boring. In a small town in Takagaku, Hiden and Kakuza walked unscrupulously on the street. This is the only town near Takagaku village, and it's just right for them to resupply before capturing the Seven Tails Jingariki. Hiden, it seems like someone is watching us. Kakuza, who had just bought some cakes from a pastry shop, immediately found someone watching them at the corner of the street. Taking the snacks from Kakuza, Hiden asked casually, "Do you need me to get rid of them?" "No, I want to see who is behind these stalkers. I think it should be the ninjas from Takagaku. After all, you were a traitor from Takagaku. If that's the case, it's a pity. The ninjas from Takagaku are not worth much." The two ate and walked, and soon they walked out of the town and came to an empty place. Here, they also successfully saw the so-called behind-the-scenes person. "It's really God's blessing. It's my turn to make money today." Ha ha ha, it turns out to be Tsunade, one of the three ninjas. I believe the evil god will like this sacrifice very much. Looking at Tsunade blocking the way, Kakuza and Hiden fell into extreme excitement. Kakuza did it for money, and Hiden did it for faith. At this moment, the two made the same choice. That is, to kill Tsunade. Chapter 241 Tsunade vs. the Immortal Judo. "This rug is plucked. You two are not human. Go back to where you came from." Tsunade crossed her arms and stood on the opposite side of the Immortal Judo, blocking them from going to Takagaku village. At the same time, she was also recalling the information about the members of Akatsuki given to her by the Third Hokage. When she thought of the two people in front of her, one with 5 hearts and the other believing in evil gods and having immortality, Tsunade called them perverts. As a member of the Senju family, a medical expert, and also able to use the 100 healings technique, she is already meaty enough. I thought that there was no one in the entire ninja world who was more meaty than her except for the great-grandfather, but I didn't expect that there was such a person in front of me. Well, she was talking about Hiden, not Kakuza. Kakuza's 5 hearts are indeed strange and can be called a monster. However, as long as his 5 hearts are blown up, Kakuza will die. Hiden is different. In the information given by the Third Hokage, this guy can be said to be no longer a human. He won't die even if his head is chopped off. Is he still a human? Even her great-grandfather, Senju Hashirama, was not so outrageous. "Kakuza-san, it's rare to come across such a high-quality sacrifice, please give her to me. I don't care, I just need her head anyway." Obviously, neither of them took Tsunade's words seriously. Looking at Tsunade not far away, Hiden was almost drooling. Just as he said, such a high-quality sacrifice is very rare. And what about Kakuza? He only needs to use the head to exchange for the bounty, and it doesn't matter whether your Hiden does it. He just wants the money. TSK, doesn't it make sense? Tsunade, who had expected it, was very annoyed when she saw that the two rejected her proposal and didn't take her seriously. "The people in the casino said I was a big fat sheep, and you really treat me as a fat sheep." With an angry shout, Tsunade didn't give the Immortal Duo time to prepare, and rushed up immediately. "Hiden, leave it you." Seeing Tsunade rushing over, Kakuza immediately jumped to the side and left the venue to Hiden. "Don't worry, Kakuza-san, I'll get her soon." Hiden stood there laughing arrogantly, and he didn't even bother to dodge Tsunade's attack. "Foolish woman, let me show you what immortality is." "Really?" Hearing Hiden's arrogant speech, Tsunade smiled slightly, and her right hand turned into a palm, and chakra suddenly appeared and condensed on her palm. It was the chakra scalpel. With a chakra scalpel, Tsunade directly beheaded Hiden. Before Hiden's head fell to the ground, Tsunade kicked his head away with another big foot. There, Shijin had been waiting for a long time. "Hiden. Damn woman, I will come back." Her. On the side, Kakuza saw that Hiden was dealt with by Tsunade in a single encounter, and couldn't help but frowned. Kakuza was not surprised that Hiden was decapitated by a blow. Having been a partner with Hiden for so long, Kakuza naturally knew that Hiden had some particularly bad quirks. For example, he would show off his immortality to the enemy during the battle. Because of this quirk, Hiden had no idea how many times his head had been chopped off in previous operations, and he had to use his earth grudge to sew it up every time. Kakuza was no longer surprised. What surprised him was that Tsunade seemed to know Hiden's intelligence, and after cutting off Hiden's head, she kicked it into the distance. Would a normal person kick someone's head away after cutting it off? Tsunade is not a pervert with any special hobbies. Rather than saying that she has a perverted hobby, it's better to say that she is preventing herself from suturing Hiden. Thinking of this, Kakuza looked at Tsunade with a changed look. He had realized that this battle seemed a bit difficult to deal with. So, should he continue to fight, kill Tsunade to earn the bounty, and save Hiden at the same time? Or should he give up on this idiot Hiden and run away? For Kakuza, it seemed that he didn't need to choose. A head worth at least 50 million taels, wouldn't it be a pity to give it up? Tsunade didn't know what Kakuza was thinking at the moment. According to the logic of normal people, their partner was killed by someone as soon as they met. Although there was a carelessness involved, it should not be underestimated. In addition, Tsunade was famous, and most normal people would consider how to retreat at this time. Adhering to this principle, Tsunade, whose hands began to tremble slightly, looked at the bloody body of Hiden and forced herself to stabilize her mind, and said to Kakuza, "I'll give you one last chance. Either die with your useless partner, or leave taking no Kuni as soon as possible." Kakuza looked at Tsunade in a strange way. Even though Tsunade tried her best to stabilize herself, Kakuza still saw something wrong. Thinking about a few years ago, he accidentally heard from Zetsu that the famous Tsunade seemed to have hemophobia. At the time, he laughed at Zetsu, saying how could a medical ninja suffer from this symptom? However, from Tsunade's slightly trembling hands and the way she forced herself to suppress herself, Kakuza realized that the information Zetsu said was true. "Ahahaha, I'm dying of laughter. Princess Tsunade, one of the 3 great ninjas, actually suffers from hemophobia. I almost got fooled." Hearing this, Tsunade's pupils shrank instantly, and the amplitude of her trembling began to grow larger and larger, and her eyes began to slowly become blurred. Seeing this, Kakuza finally believed that the woman in front of him really suffered from hemophobia. So, today is the day for me, Kakuza, to get rich. If Kakuza just wanted Tsunade's head just now, then now, he wants Tsunade's whole body. For a famous ninja like this, the price of the whole body is much higher than that of a single head. Decades ago, your Konoha's first-generation Hokage couldn't kill me, and now, I want to kill his granddaughter. It's really unpredictable. Slowly approaching Tsunade, Kakuza gently raised his right hand and grabbed Tsunade's neck. "Go down and say hello to the first Hokage for me. I think you should go down and say hello to him in person." Kakuza, who was originally very relaxed, suddenly heard Tsunade say this, and thought to himself that it was not good, and immediately wanted to retreat. But it was too late. In a flash, Tsunade punched Kakuza with a strange punch, and smashed the left half of Kakuza with one blow. "What's the matter? You don't have hemophobia?" The powerful force knocked Kakuza more than 10 meters away and hit a big tree. Looking at his left half, it was completely smashed by Tsunade. At the same time, the earth attribute hard placed in the upper left corner and the lightning attribute hard placed in the lower left corner were also completely damaged. Kakuza couldn't accept this result for a while. "I do have hemophobia, but I have recovered a long time ago." After saying this, Tsunade lost interest in chatting and sent a painful kick to Kakuza. This battle was originally designed with about 10,000 words. With the help of Shishin and Piglet, Tsunade destroyed Hiden's ritual by erasing, overwriting, and superimposing, and then defeated the two. But after I finished writing it, I felt that something was wrong. It shouldn't be so slow, and Tsunade knew the information. And that's it, one chapter is done, chapter 242 Reason, boom. Tsunade's kick was powerful and heavy, and it was clear that it was aimed at Kakuza's life. When her right foot stepped on the ground, the powerful force cracked the ground. Kakuza was not a person who would wait for death. Even though his left half was gone and he had difficulty moving, he relied on the black line of the earth grudge to wander around in the surrounding woods like Tarzan to avoid Tsunade's attack. And Tsunade obviously didn't want to let Kakuza go, and kept chasing him from behind. Damn it. The missing left side of his body was being quickly repaired by the earth grudge. During this period of time, if Kakuza wanted to live, he must not be caught up by Tsunade. With the combat power of his current body, he really didn't dare to fight Tsunade head-on without releasing the masked monster. I really lost a lot this time. I must make pain compensate me for my losses when I go back. If they don't give me a satisfactory compensation, I won't play with them anymore. At worst, I will hide in the mountains and forests for decades, and then come out after everyone of this generation is dead. Why does this generation have to die, instead of just waiting for Pain and others to die? It's obvious. From Tsunade's performance, the information about him and Hiden has been leaked. Tsunade knows it, and it's possible that the people in Konoha also know it. For safety reasons, it's better for him to come out again after everyone of this generation is dead. When he failed to assassinate the first Hokage, he returned to Takagaku village, killed a lot of people and seized the Earth Grudge, and that's how he survived. Didn't you see that he was not seen in the 3 ninja wars? What is the Ninja King of Hiding? Kakuza. I'm the Ninja King of Hiding. Black Zetsu. Don't run, Kakuza. Come here and let me kill you. Kakuza had the help of the Earth's black line. Whether it was the speed of escape or the twists and turns in the woods, he was faster and more flexible than Tsunade. Only a fool would stop. Seeing that his left body was almost repaired, Kakuza had no intention of stopping to fight Tsunade again. He just wanted to get back to the Hidden Rain village as soon as possible and ask Pain for work injury compensation, so he didn't want to continue taking risks. Give up, even your grandfather can't catch up with me. You're worse than your grandfather. You want to catch up with me? Dream on. Bullshit, do you think I don't know? To put it nicely, you're assassinating my great-grandfather back then. To put it bluntly, didn't you just throw a shuriken at my great-grandfather from 800 miles away? That's called assassination. You must want to make me laugh to death, and then inherit my legacy and gambling debts. QNMD, a shuriken attack from 800 miles away, you can know her slandering me. Be careful or I'll go to the Fire Country Daimyo's mansion to sue you for defamation. Also, why is it not an inheritance, but a gambling debt? How much the hell do you owe? Want to go to the Fire Country Daimyo's mansion? Tsunade, who was chasing closely behind him, sneered and chose to answer the previous question, ignoring what Kakuza said later. Are you sure you want to go to the Fire Country Daimyo's mansion? Let's not talk about whether you can go there as a traitor. Don't you know that the Fire Country Daimyo is my relative? Shit. Kakuza cursed inwardly, knowing that he couldn't get any advantage verbally, so he simply ran away, and no matter how Tsunade yelled at him from behind, Kakuza didn't answer. In this way, the two of them ran and chased each other, and the time lasted for about half an hour. When Kakuza completely disappeared from her sight, Tsunade had no choice but to give up. You can't really run to the Rain Country, right? Forget it, let's go back to Shizhen first. When Tsunade came to Shizhen, she happened to see Shizhen wearing gloves, ignoring the vulgar words that Fuden cursed, and stuffed a piece of unknown object into his mouth. Shizhen, what are you doing? Ah, Lady Tsunade is back. Seeing Tsunade coming back, Shizhen hid her hands behind her back subconsciously like a child who was caught. Fortunately, she also reacted quickly. After all, abusing the enemy is not something shameful, and there is no need to avoid Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, I can't do anything about it. This guy's mouth is really stinky. He keeps talking there. Look, I can't stop his mouth with my excrement. Tuntun's excrement. Tsunade quickly stepped back a few steps after hearing this, and distanced herself from Shizhen. At the same time, she also glanced at the shy and somewhat exhausted little piglet Tuntung. You wait, stinky woman, you dare to insult the followers of the evil god like this, eat shit for me, and when I recover, I will definitely not let you go. I will make you into a barbecue and feed you my food every day. Eat shit, you are still talking so much. Tsunade's arrival made Shizhen's feeding of shit pause for a while, and Fuden, who caught the opportunity, started to output again. However, Shizhen did not indulge him, and grabbed a piece of shit on the ground and stuffed it into Fuden's mouth. Looking at this disgusting scene in front of her, Tsunade discovered for the first time that Shizhen also had such a terrifying side. TSK, just be quiet. Tsunade had already returned, and Shizhen no longer had the interest to continue feeding Hiden. In order to prevent Hiden from vomiting fragrance again, she simply pulled a bunch of grass and leaves from the bushes next to her, kneaded them and stuffed them into Hiden's mouth. This completely blocked Hiden's mouth. Take Hiden's head, let's go and take care of his body as well. Yes, Tsunade-sama. Throwing away her gloves, Shizhen forcibly held the little piglet Tuntung in her arms with her left hand, grabbed Hiden's hair with her right hand, and followed Tsunade. On the way, Shizhen asked with a little doubt, Tsunade-sama, is your hemophobia? As you can see, it's hemophobia. Hearing this, Shizhen almost jumped up with joy. As a medical ninja, she knew too well the harm of hemophobia to people like them. Now that she knew that Tsunade was completely healed, she was really happy. Really? That's great. It's okay. Looking at the happy Shizhen, Tsunade smiled calmly. In fact, the hemophobia she suffered after witnessing the death of her brother and lover had long been cured. It's just that she didn't tell anyone. Hemophobia was her excuse to leave Konoha. Based on her understanding of the old man Sandai, if he knew that her hemophobia was cured, he might send a large number of people or even personally take her back. She is very different with and without hemophobia. In order not to go back to the sad place, she can only pretend that she is not well and not let the old man Sandai bother her. It was because the news given by the Sandai this time made her too concerned, so she took the initiative to return to the village. Otherwise, she would not take the initiative to go back. Look, after returning, she was drafted by the old man Sandai and asked her to come to take the country to stop the Akatsuki organization from capturing the Seven Tails Jinchuriki. At first, Tsunade naturally refused. However, the old man of the third generation offered a condition that was extremely tempting to her. That was to revive Rotary. Before going to the old man of the third generation's house, she had already met Minato and Kushina, and knew that it was a real resurrection, not a fake thing from the impure world reincarnation. She wanted to bargain and wanted the old man of the third generation to agree to revive her lover Kato Dan. As a result, the old man of the third generation said something that made him stun for a long time. I don't have a very good impression of Dan, and for Jiraiya, I will not revive Dan. Tsunade sighed. She didn't know why the old man of the third generation hated Dan. However, in order for her brother to be resurrected, she could only agree to the old man of the third generation's request and came to the land of waterfalls. Tsunade's hemophobia is gone, just treat it as my secondary setting. When I was watching the anime at the time, I felt something was wrong. She knew that Orochimaru knew that she had hemophobia, but she still dared to go to the appointment. Did she think that Orochimaru would not do anything to her? She was the first to do it. Didn't she know that she had such a big weakness as hemophobia? Also, when she was fighting with Kabuto Yakashi, Naruto stood in front of her and did not put her life in danger, so she was shaking all the time. When Kabuto Yakashi dealt with Naruto and was about to get serious with her, her hemophobia was immediately cured. So I tend to think that her hemophobia had actually been cured a long time ago, and she pretended not to be cured in order not to return to Konoha. Chapter 243 Kakuza returns to Rain Hidden. According to the time, Kakuza and Hidden should have captured the Seven Tails Jinchuriki. Why haven't they contacted us yet? The Akatsuki base in the Hidden Rain village. Zetsu and Nagato both wanted to take advantage of the 5-Hokage conference to seal the Seven Tails Jinchuriki into the Pluto. As long as the 7 Tails is dealt with, the remaining 8 Tails and 9 Tails will be easy to deal with. It's not that the Jinchuriki are easy to catch, but Zetsu has corresponding substitutes. For example, the broken horn of the 8 Tails collected by Orochimaru, and the brothers Kinkaku and Yunkaku who possess the 9 Tails chakra. But again, Zetsu doesn't want to use these substitutes unless it is absolutely necessary, because it will affect Kaguya Otsutsuki's strength after breaking the seal. Conan. It's just the Hidden Taker village, it shouldn't be able to stop the immortal judo, right? Pain. The Hidden Taker village really can't stop them, but I'm afraid someone will go to the land of Taking in advance to protect the Seven Tails Jinchuriki. Conan and Pain's words echoed each other, which makes Zetsu a little confused. Who would be so bold as to go and protect ninjas from other villages? Pain glanced at Zetsu and said, Konoha. Konoha? Well, it's possible now that you put it that way. Zetsu pondered for a moment. Even if the 5th Hokage Jiraiya took away Minato Namikaze and Hatake Sakamo, there were still top fighters in Konoha village, such as Uzumaki Koyuki, Orochimaru, Uzumaki Mito, and the 2nd Hokage. Well, Zetsu didn't know that Mito and Tobirama were not actually from this time and space. He always thought that Konoha had resurrected them. It was precisely because Konoha hit so many top ninjas that Zetsu couldn't wait to start capturing the tailed beasts more than a year in advance. In order to force Nagato to agree to implement the plan in advance, he didn't hesitate to seduce Kizum to capture the one-tailed Jinchuriki and roast Nagato on the fire. This also led to a slight crack in the relationship between the two. But this didn't matter to Zetsu at all. What was a mere chess piece used to nourish the Samsara? As long as he could resurrect Kaguya Otsutsuki, Black Zetsu could be the enemy of the world. At this time, Nagato, who was about to say something, suddenly felt Kakuza's chakra. Well, Kakuza is back, but I didn't sense Hidden chakra. It seems that they are in big trouble this time. The land of rain is covered by rain for many years. With the power of the Samsara, Nagato injected chakra into the rain. Anyone who was drenched by the rain could be sensed by him. The name of this move is Rain Tiger Free Technique. In the original work, Jiraiya seemed to sneak into the Hidden Rain village smoothly. But he didn't know that when he appeared in the Hidden Rain village and was drenched by the rain, he was already discovered by Nagato. Zetsu and Conan knew this move, so they didn't doubt what Pain said. Let's wait for Kakuza to come. Finally safe. Since getting rid of Tsunade's entanglement, Kakuza ran all the way to the land of rain. When passing by the land of grass on the way, he killed 2 ninjas who matched the attributes of his destroyed heart and replenished his 5 hearts. At this time, he was not careless. Who knows if there will be people from Konoha waiting for him in the land of grass. So even though his heart was already healed, Kakuza did not stop at all and rushed back to the hidden rain village at full speed. For him, returning here was safe. Pain's pair of Samsara eyes made him feel very safe. Kakuza, what happened? Seeing Kakuza coming back, Zetsu, who was a little anxious, immediately went to meet him. Don't say it, Hiden and I were intercepted by Konoha. Intercepted? How many people did Konoha send? Kakuza replied a little embarrassedly. Only one person. One person? Hearing this answer, Pain and Konan did not show anything, but Zetsu became excited. Who has the ability to deal with you and Hiden at the same time? Don't tell me it's the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju. And, where is Hiden? Could he be killed? Not Hashirama Senju. After all, he is an old man who has survived 1, 2, and 3 battles. Kakuza was embarrassed for a moment and immediately returned to his original appearance. The person who intercepted me and Hiden was the granddaughter of Hashirama Senju, Princess Tsunade, one of the 3 ninjas. As for Hiden, I think he should have been taken back to Konoha by Tsunade. Shouldn't it be? After knowing that the person who intercepted Kakuza was not Hashirama Senju, Black Zetsu secretly breathed a sigh of relief. What it feared most at the moment was that Konoha resurrected Hashirama Senju. Once this person was resurrected, it would have to resurrect Uchiha Madara without being prepared. In its eyes, only Uchiha Madara was worthy of being the opponent of Hashirama Senju. With your and Hiden's abilities, how could Tsunade defeat both of you at the same time? Don't hesitate, tell us the details. Kakuza didn't speak immediately, but looked at Pain. After seeing Pain nod, he told the details of their fight with Tsunade. Rather than saying that the immortal duo fought Tsunade together, it would be better to say that Kakuza fought Tsunade alone. The process of the battle was quite frustrating for Kakuza. Hiden, that idiot, had his head cut off by Tsunade at the very beginning, and he immediately lost the ability to fight. He was also successfully deceived by Tsunade, and was beaten half of his body by the opponent due to carelessness. If I hadn't been careless for a moment and was attacked by Tsunade would definitely not be my opponent. After telling Nagato, Konan, and Zetsu about the battle, Kakuza did not forget to make amends for himself. Okay, we already know about this matter, you go down and rest first. Okay, I'm really tired after such a long journey. Nodding to the 3 people, Kakuza turned around and walked towards the hotel in the hidden rain village. Something is wrong. Why do I feel that Tsunade seems to be very familiar with the abilities of Hiden and Kakuza? First, she took advantage of Hiden's confidence and arrogance in his immortal body to cut off his head, causing him to lose his fighting ability, and then attack Kakuza and destroyed his 2 hearts. How can a normal ninja fight like this? Tendo Pain shook his head and did not respond to Zetsu's words. Zetsu didn't know, didn't he know? When he went to Konoha to ask Jiraiya to revive Yahiko, Jiraiya almost told him openly that Konoha had all the information about Akatsuki. Nagato was skeptical at first, but the battle between Tsunade and the immortal duo made him understand. Konoha did have information about Akatsuki. In this way, things might develop in the worst direction. What should we do? Do we need to send other people to capture the 7-tails Jinchuriki? Seeing that Pain didn't respond, Chua didn't think much about it. What he cared about most was the matter of the Jinchuriki. It's too late. Be prepared to face the attack of the 5 major ninja villages together. Chapter 244 Determining the personnel who will participate in the operation. With the end of the 2-day 5-Hokage conference, the situation in the ninja world immediately became serious again. As soon as he returned to Konoha, Jiraiya urgently convened a meeting of Konoha's top leaders. Almost all the people attending the meeting were the ones who watched the light screen together. The only exception was Tsunade. Tsunade, you won't leave this time, right? Facing Jiraiya's inquiry, Tsunade waved her hand without interest and replied, it depends on the situation. If you don't think about yourself, you should also think about the resurrected Rotary. Do you want Rotary to wander around with you outside the village? You said that as if I was having a miserable life outside. In other words, Shijin was not qualified to attend this meeting, otherwise she would definitely complain secretly. The life they lived outside the village was not a fairy life, but a poor life of hiding from debt collectors everywhere. The end of each month was the most difficult time for them. Only after getting through the end of the month, Tsunade would have the confidence to go to some nobles to borrow money. With her reputation as a medical expert, even if others know that there is a high probability that they will not get the money back, they will still lend it to her. After all, who doesn't have a dizzy spell? Lending some money to Tsunade may save one more life, and these nobles will not do business at a loss. Besides, to be serious, Tsunade is still one of their nobles, and she should be helped. Shaking his head, Jiraiya no longer dwelled on Tsunade's problem, but looked seriously at the people who attended the meeting. Everyone should know that we are about to form a joint force with the other 4 major ninja villages to go toward the Akatsuki organization. Because this operation is only aimed at the Akatsuki organization and not the Hidden Rain village, we don't need too many people to participate in the war. Are there any of you who want to participate? It will be counted as an A-level mission. Jiraiya leaned back in his chair after he finished speaking, quietly watching the people who were whispering to each other. Off the court, the Hotake father and son were whispering to each other. "Father, shall we join this mission?" Hotake Seikumo did not answer Kakashi's question immediately, but asked, "Do you want to join?" "It's okay, the reward for an A-level mission is very considerable. If you want to join, but I have to remind you, you should slack off when you need to, and don't be stupid and rush up when you see the enemy." Hearing this, Kakashi sighed helplessly. "Father, you still think I'm a child? Of course I know about this kind of thing. I'm just afraid that you can't see it clearly for a while. Don't worry, the main force of this operation is the Kamugaku ninja, and we Konoha ninjas just need to cheer on the side." Kakashi's words made Hotake Seikumo feel a lot more at ease. Everyone knows that Kamugaku and Akatsuki are already in a situation of life and death. In addition, with the relationship between Akatsuki leader Nagato and Jiraiya, Konoha does not need to be the first to take action. It only needs to cheer on the back. This can be seen from the fact that Jiraiya only gave an A-level mission standard, not an S-level mission. Everyone knows it tacitly. On the other side, Minato was also discussing with Kushina. "Minato, just let me participate. I will definitely not cause any trouble to you. I don't quite understand why you must participate in this operation." To be honest, Minato Namikaze didn't want Kushina to participate in this operation. Who knows if Akatsuki still has a trump card? The light curtain did not show all the information of Akatsuki members. At least, they don't know what kind of ability the human path of Pain's 6 paths has. If you leave, what about Naruto? Simple, can't you take Naruto to Myoboku Mountain? You can also take this opportunity to learn fairy arts, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Going to Myoboku Mountain is no problem, but for fairy arts, it depends on whether the Great Toad Sage agrees. It will definitely agree. I hope so. Minato couldn't persuade Kushina, so he had to agree. Okay, I think everyone has discussed it almost, so, who of you wants to participate in this operation? As soon as Jiraiya finished speaking, Ashuma raised his hand impatiently. Later, Hotake Kakashi, Namikaze Minato, and Uzumaki Kushina also raised their hands. Seeing this, Jiraiya nodded with satisfaction. There were 4 people participating, especially among them was the 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. This combination was enough to shut up Kamugaku and Iwagaku, whom I question Konoha is sending too few people. Wait, why is Orochimaru also raising his hand? "Orochimaru, what do you want to do?" Orochimaru chuckled and ignored Jiraiya's surprised look. "I don't want to do anything. I just want to participate in this operation." "Participate, for fuck's sake. Is the clone of Nawas ready? Has Kabata Yakushi returned to Konoha village? Have you figured out Hidden's immortality? By the way, you're not trying to be lazy, are you?" Orochimaru's face was full of black lines. He swept a cold look at Jiraiya and replied unwillingly, "I just want to know, is my 3rd Hokage who came out of the impure world reincarnation stronger, or is Scorpion's 3rd Hokage human puppet stronger?" "Bullshit, I think you want to show off to Scorpion. Showing off that your 3rd Hokage who was reborn from the impure world reincarnation is more powerful than his human puppet Hokage. After so many years of companionship, I still don't know you. TSK, how boring." Orochimaru curled his lips, as a tacit agreement. Tsunade, who hadn't been back to the village for a long time and had no contact with Jiraiya and Orochimaru, looked at Orochimaru with a little surprise and asked, "When did you have such a bad taste?" "I don't have such a bad taste for everyone. When I was partnering with Scorpion, that guy would mock my research whenever he got the chance, and said that only eternity is the only one. The worst thing is that he also sent spies to me. Tsunade, tell me, can I bear this?" Hearing this, Tsunade rolled her eyes and complained, "Why are you so petty like a woman?" Hate, I don't know if Orochimaru was deliberately disgusting Tsunade. This guy threw a coquettish eye at Tsunade, and changed his voice, saying in a very gentle tone, "I'm a very cute girl now." "Tsunade, Watch my fist, you monster. Tsunade, who was successfully disgusted, didn't care what the occasion was, and raised her fist to beat Orochimaru. Want to hit me? No way. Orochimaru had expected that he might be beaten for this move. When Tsunade was about to make a move, he quickly escaped from his seat and ran to the door. You can't hit me. Dead snake, give me your life. It's so scary, ha. Run away, dead snake, don't run just like that. The two of them left the meeting room one after the other. The third Hokage turned his face away with an expression of dismay. Jiraiya also had a constipated expression on his face. Ignore the two of them, let's continue. Chapter 245 Uchiha Fuku. In addition to the four of you, Minato, I will also participate in this joint operation. No. The meeting continued, and Jiraiya did not hesitate, and immediately expressed that he would also participate in this operation. However, his decision was blocked by the third Hokage. Old man, give me a reason. Jiraiya looked at the third Hokage with a calm face. He also knew that the old man was doing it for his own good. After all, this operation was also somewhat dangerous. With manpower being used, he, as the current Hokage, really shouldn't take risks. But for the sake of his former disciples, he also wanted to make a final effort. At the very least, he had to get the body cells of Nagato and Konan to prepare for future resurrection. You are the Hokage now, and your responsibility is to stay in the rear, formulate strategies for the development of the village, and ensure the safety of the village, instead of charging into battle like in the past. Sure enough, the third Hokage's words were similar to what Jiraiya thought, all for his safety. Don't worry, old man. Nagato is my disciple after all. And even if I can't beat him, can't I run away? Jiraiya's words were well reasoned, and the third Hokage didn't know how to refute him for a moment. After learning the information about 5 of the 6 Paths of Pain's puppets, Jiraiya wanted to run away, but Nagato couldn't catch him. In the original work, after Jiraiya broke his arm, if he wanted to run away, Pain couldn't stop him in Sage mode. But he felt that Konoha would sooner or later face Pain, and if he didn't know all of Pain's abilities, Konoha would probably suffer in the future. So he didn't run away, but continued to fight Pain, hoping to get more information, and then he died at the hands of the 6 Paths of Pain. The 5th Jiraiya in the present world didn't know this either, but with the information about the 5 Paths puppets, he felt that if he wanted to run away, Nagato would definitely not be able to stop him. Okay, I can't argue with you. At worst, I'll wait for you to die, and then I'll let Orochimaru work overtime to revive you. Don't revive if you can. Needless to say, the pain of death, we are all ninjas, and those who understand will understand. Just talking about the money it costs to revive, that's a lot of money. Some time ago, he talked about this topic with Orochimaru, and by the way, he also checked the account book in Orochimaru's laboratory. You don't know until you see it, you will be shocked. At the time, Jiraiya knew that cloning a proper clone actually cost so much money. No wonder Orochimaru wanted him to increase the funds from time to time. He thought that Orochimaru was embezzling money, but he didn't expect that he was dedicated to the public and spent all the money on experiments. Looking at the long string of zeros in the account book, Jiraiya felt so distressed. You don't know how expensive oil and rice are until you manage the household. Money was needed to develop the village. Jiraiya made a decision immediately. Fuku, Mikoto and others are the last batch of people who can be resurrected for free. In the future, no matter who it is, they will have to pay. After all, the landlord has no surplus food. Okay, since no one objects, then this matter is settled. Hokage-sama, are you going to act with us? Act together? No, I will just go to the Hidden Rain village to talk to Nagato secretly. If we can't reach an agreement, I will come back. I see. Ashuma sat down, indicating that he had no problem. Kakashi stood up suddenly and said, do you want to let Sasuke and his family participate in this operation? 3 days ago, Orochimaru resurrected Sasuke's parents, Uchiha Fuku and Uchiha Mikoto agreed. In the crusade against the Akatsuki organization, they, the Konoha side, will most likely encounter Uchiha Itachi. Facing this dangerous person with mixed reputations, Kakashi felt that it would be better for the Uchiha to solve it themselves. Fuku. Okay, after the meeting, you can go to the Uchiha and ask their opinions. Okay, Hokage-sama. After the main characters for the battle were determined, the meeting went very smoothly. As soon as the meeting was over, Kakashi ran to the Uchiha mansion and found Uchiha Fuku basking in the sun in the art. Patriarch Fuku. Oh, it's Kakashi, what do you want to talk to me about? After Fuku was resurrected, his personality changed a bit. He was no longer as serious and boring as before, but became calm and lazy. He would stay in his own yard to bask in the sun whenever he had nothing to do, and he didn't ask about any decisions of the village, and he was completely flat. The Hokage asked me to ask, will Patriarch Fuku and Sasuke participate in this crusade against the Akatsuki organization? Kakashi didn't ask Uchiha Madara, not because Kakashi didn't respect her, but because her strength was not enough, and she would be a burden if she went. Sasuke was actually a burden, but he would call him male number 2, plus he was obsessed with Itachi. If he didn't call him, he would definitely be annoyed to death in the future. I will definitely participate, but about Itachi. Itachi is his son after all. If possible, Fuku doesn't want Itachi to die like this. You need to talk to the Hokage in person about this. Okay, I'll go to the Hokage tonight. After getting Fuku's reply, Kakashi left and quickly returned to the Hokage building to report the situation to Jiraiya. Thank you for your hard work, Kakashi. It's okay. If the Hokage is fine, I'll leave first. Well, you go first. At night, Uchiha Fuku brought Uchiha Sasuke to Jiraiya's house. The two sides had a discussion about how to deal with Itachi. In the end, after a long period of tug-of-war, Jiraiya agreed to keep Uchiha Itachi's life. At the same time, the village will mobilize public opinion to whitewash what Itachi did in the past, so that he can return with the undercover clones placed outside by the village. And what Fuku and others paid was just to ensure that Itachi would not cause trouble in the future, and a lot of money. The Uchiha clan left a lot of inheritance. A small part of it was confiscated by the third-generation old man under various names when Sasuke was still young and used to develop the village. The vast majority of the remaining wealth is in Sasuke's hands. Originally, the third-generation old man had a good idea. The Uchiha family had such a huge inheritance that all the families in the village had ideas about it. When Sasuke could not keep it, he could come forward and let Sasuke entrust them to manage it in the name of the village. Giving Sasuke a sum of money every month would be a good way to get rid of him. In this way, the third-generation old man's greed would not be so ugly, and Sasuke could also get a considerable amount of money every month. It was simply a win-win situation. But he did not expect that plans could not keep up with changes. Whether in the original work or in the present world, Orochimaru's plan to collapse Konoha made the third-generation old man's plan come to nothing. So, although the current Uchiha is just an empty shell, it is very rich. Chapter 246. 5 villages under pressure. Yahayaka returns to Rain Village. Time passed slowly, and 3 days had passed. Part of the ninja coalition was ready to go at the border of the Rain Country. Because the Land of Earth, the Land of Wind, and the Land of Fire bordered the Rain Country, the ninjas of the 3 countries could go directly to the Rain Country from the borders of their own countries. The Hidden Cloud Village in the Land of Thunder and the Hidden Mist Village in the Land of Water were more troublesome. The former had to pass through the Land of Fields and the Land of Frost to reach the Land of Grass, and enter at the border of the Land of Grass. The latter also had to pass through the Land of Bears, pass through the Land of Fire, reach the Land of Rivers, and enter from the border of the Land of Rivers. In this way, the only country bordering the Rain Country that did not have people from the 5 major ninja villages was the Land of Birds. What's the situation? The Hidden Rain Village was the base of the Akatsuki organization. Nagato had summoned all the official members. Facing the aggressive 5 major ninja villages, Nagato was not afraid at all. If he was not afraid, then Kizuma and others, as official members, would naturally not be afraid either. People from the 5 major ninja villages are ready at the border. They can enter the Rain Country at any time. Tell me how many people the major ninja villages have sent and who the main characters are. Okay. Zetsu is an intelligence officer of the Akatsuki organization. With the cooperation of White Zetsu, Black Zetsu already knew the intelligence about the 5 major ninja villages as soon as they arrived at the border. The most people from the Hidden Cloud Village are here. There are 20 people, all of whom are Junin. The main characters among them are the 4th Hokage and his right-hand men, Derry and 11. Didn't the 8-tailed Jinchuriki come? No. Okay, continue. Black Zetsu felt a little pity at this time. If Kakuzu and Hiden were more powerful, they could seal the 7-tailed Jinchuriki into the Outer Path demon statue. At this time, Nagato could take the opportunity to sneak into the Lightning Country to capture the 8-tailed Jinchuriki. What a pity. The people sent by Sand Villager Kyo, Timari, Kankuro, and 5 Junin. The people sent by Karigaku Villager Edo and Chojura, and 5 Junin. The people sent by Iwagaku Villager Kurasuchi, Yellow Earth, Akages, and 10 Junin. As for Konoha, at this point, Zetsu looked at Nagato, and then secretly glanced at Itachi, and then continued. The people sent by Konoha should be of the highest quality, including the 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato, the previous 9-tailed Jinchuriki Uzumaki Kushina, the copy ninja Kakashi, the son of the 3rd Hokage Ashuma Sarutobi, the head of the Uchiha clan Uchiha Fuku and his son, Uchiha Sasuke. Zetsu has found out the number of people. Do you have any ideas? After listening to Zetsu's report, Tendo Pain did not react. He just looked at everyone indifferently, wanting to hear what they wanted to say. Hehe, leave the land of Earth to me. I will let them know what the art of explosion is. As soon as Pain finished speaking, Didoro couldn't help but volunteer. Back then, the 3rd Tsuchika Jothanuki, his teacher, was annoyed by his explosions and arranged for him to live outside the village. He was very confused about this. The village had a blasting brigade, so why could they live in the village when they played with explosions, but he had to live on the edge of that village when he played with explosions. If he hadn't lived in such a ghost place, he wouldn't have joined the Akatsuki organization under the coercion of Itachi, the bastard. Let alone revenge, Didoro wanted to prove to Othnuki how much trouble the explosions he looked down on back then would bring to the Hidden Rock village now. Leave the Hidden Sand village to me. Didoro volunteered, and Scorpion didn't hesitate at all. What about you, Kizum? Are you in charge of the Hidden Mist village? Since the leaders have spoken, then I will be in charge of the Hidden Mist village. 3 people from the 5 major ninja villages have already taken over. Only the Hidden Cloud village, which sent the most people, and Konoha, which had the highest quality, were left. Kakuza, Itachi, Konoha is in charge of you, is there a problem? Kakuza wanted to say that there was a problem, and it was a big problem. Looking at the lineup of Konoha, can he and Itachi deal with it? At most, he can deal with the 4th Hokage and the 9-tailed Jinchuriki. Can Itachi handle the rest? Kakuza still recognized Itachi's strength, but he could never see through him. However, he understood that Itachi did not join the Akatsuki organization sincerely, just like he did not really want to. Judging others by himself, Kakuza was afraid that Itachi would surrender to the enemy during the fight. After all, Konoha sent Itachi's father and brother. In this regard, Kakuza also secretly made up his mind that if the situation was not good, he would run away. Conan and I will be in charge of the Hidden Cloud village. You will be in the middle to coordinate and help wherever you need help. Okay, do you have any questions? If not, then go down and prepare. Several people had no questions, shook their heads, and left the Akatsuki base, walking in the direction of their respective responsibilities. Nagato, such a big thing happened, why didn't Madara show up? After everyone left, Conan returned to the depths of the base and asked about the masked man who did not appear, Madara. I don't know. He's always so mysterious. Forget about him. Let's not talk about him now. Wait, someone has sneaked into the Hidden Rain village. Just when Nagato was about to take Conan to fight the Hidden Cloud village, he suddenly sensed 2 strange but familiar Shakerays appearing in the village. Who is it? Do you need me to deal with it? If I'm guessing correctly, it should be Jiraiya and Yahiko. What? Why are they here at this time? Conan, who was always calm, began to panic after hearing what Nagato said. I don't know. Let's go with Pain to see. Jiraiya is so unreliable. Why would he bring Yahiko back at this time? Conan kept muttering on the way. Obviously, she was very dissatisfied with Jiraiya bringing Yahiko back at this time. Isn't this putting Yahiko in danger? At the gate to the Hidden Cloud village, Jiraiya, who had just sent the toad back to Myoboku Mountain, looked at Yahiko speechlessly. Hey, Jiraiya-sensei, don't be angry. Now that we're here, you can't send me back again, can you? Before setting off, Yahiko heard from somewhere that the 5 major ninja villages were going to wipe out the Akatsuki organization, and he kept pestering Jiraiya, insisting that he take him with him. If Jiraiya didn't agree, he would go to the Hidden Rain village alone. Jiraiya couldn't persuade him, so he had to take him to the Hidden Rain village. Yeah, we're here now. Jiraiya sighed, feeling helpless. He couldn't really send Yahiko back, could he? With the level of chaos around the Land of Rain, Yahiko, who only had the strength of a Chunin, might be beaten to death if he wasn't careful. Let's go to the village to find Nagato first. Okay, Jiraiya-sensei. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 247 Nagato, the Rinnegan is not yours. Konan, Jiraiya-sensei and Yahiko are here. Go out and pick them up. Okay. In the Hidden Rain village, Jiraiya and Yahiko got two umbrellas from somewhere and walked on the street in a swagger. Teacher Jiraiya, is this really okay? Don't worry, so many years have passed, and the Hidden Rain village has long been shaped like Nagato. It won't be long before he sends someone to pick us up. Since entering the Hidden Rain village, Jiraiya has noticed that someone is watching them in the dark. But he didn't point it out. Anyway, he walked on the street with Yahiko openly, as if he was afraid that others would not find him. There was nothing he could do about it. He didn't know where Nagato and Konan were, so he could only let them know by exposing himself that he and Yahiko are here, and they should send someone to pick them up quickly. Sure enough, Jiraiya and Yahiko didn't wander around the street for long. Konan, wearing the Akatsuki uniform and a white paper rose on her head, appeared in front of them. Hey, Konan, I haven't seen you for many years. You have grown into a nice woman. Having lived with Jiraiya for 3 years, Konan naturally knew what kind of person Jiraiya was. Hearing Jiraiya's slightly teasing words, she did not show any extra expression, but suppressed her excitement and looked at Yahiko and said, "Come with me, Nagato is waiting for you." Yahiko was originally very happy to see Konan, but Konan's expressionless look made him feel a little strange, and he was a little dazed for a while. Don't think too much, let's go see Nagato together. Teacher Jiraiya patted his shoulder, and Yahiko came back to his senses. It's been so many years, and I don't know how Nagato is doing. Hearing this, Jiraiya sighed and said, I hope he won't be scared by his current appearance. Through the live screen video, Jiraiya already knew Nagato's current situation. Always maintaining a skinny image, Jiraiya could hardly imagine what kind of pain Nagato was suffering. The feeling of having one's own shaker sucked away by the gleam behind him all the time is chilling just thinking about it. And Nagato actually persisted for so many years. It must be said that Nagato and Konan have paid a lot to fulfill Yahiko's dream. With Konan's guidance, Jiraiya and Yahiko quickly arrived at the base of the Akatsuki organization, and met Nagato in a room deep inside. As soon as he saw Nagato, Yahiko was astonished by the skinny Nagato was expected. He thought of many scenes of everyone meeting, but he didn't expect that their meeting would be like this. Welcome back, Yahiko. Looking at Yahiko, Nagato smiled for the first time in a long time. Nagato, what are you doing? As you can see, this is the price that must be paid to summon the Pluto. Pluto? Hearing Nagato's name for the outer path gleam, Jiraiya frowned instantly. The light screen video clearly said that this thing is called the outer path gleam, so why did Nagato call it the Pluto? Was Nagato deceived by Obito and the others, or was the outer path demon statue also called Hades? With insufficient information, Jiraiya couldn't figure out the key. However, these were minor details, and Jiraiya just thought about it for a while and ignored it, and said directly to Nagato. Nagato, do you know that your pair of samsara eyes are not actually your own? After this, Nagato, Konan, and Yahiko all looked at Jiraiya in surprise, not understanding why he said that. Especially Nagato, he had these eyes when he was very young, and he had always believed that the samsara eyes were awakened by himself. Now that he heard someone say that these eyes were not his own, if this person was not Jiraiya, Nagato would let the other person know no matter what, and what would happen if he angered him. Teacher Jiraiya, why do you say that? Do you have any evidence? Jiraiya has always been unreliable in small matters, but he has never failed to deliver on his promises in big matters. Since he dared to say that, he must have some evidence that the three of them didn't know. The source of the information is a bit complicated, and it's hard for me to explain it to you. You just need to know that this pair of samsara eyes is indeed not Nagato's, but Uchiha Madara's. Uchiha Madara? The masked man? When she heard the name, Shonen thought of the mysterious masked man. No, the masked man you're talking about should be Uchiha Obito. Huh? Uchiha Obito? Isn't he dead? Relying on the 4th generation Hokage Minato name Hokage and Konoha technician Kakashi Hatake, Uchiha Obito's reputation is still somewhat. In addition, because Uchiha Itachi joined the organization, Nagato and Shonen knew a little about these Uchiha clan members. Therefore, when Shonen heard that the masked man was Uchiha Obito who had died for many years, she made an unbelievable sound. He is not dead, but was saved by Uchiha Madara who was hiding in the ninja world and became Madara's successor. Wait, my mind is a bit confused. Shonen, who was always calm, was not calm anymore. Jiraiya's words contained a lot of information, which made her a little overwhelmed. That is to say, Uchiha Madara did not die in the battle with the first generation of Hokage, but hid in the ninja world. Many years later, he saved Uchiha Obito and made him the successor of Madara. That's right. Is Uchiha Madara dead now? He should be dead. If he is not dead, then Obito will not be able to survive. Hearing that Madara was indeed dead, Konan and Yahiko secretly breathed a sigh of relief. They were still quite awed by this legendary ninja. When Obito used the name Uchiha Madara to find that first generation of Akatsuki, Yahiko had confronted him, saying that he was either a criminal or an idiot for using this name. Obviously, Yahiko at the time had already suspected that the masked man was not Uchiha Madara. It was really that Obito's Madara was too lame. As long as someone who was a little familiar with Madara could easily tell that the masked man was a guy. Of course, Yahiko and the other two are not familiar with Madara. But there was one thing they knew: if the masked man was really Uchiha Madara, his style of doing things would definitely not be as gentle as the masked man. How did the name Shiro come from? Didn't he get it by killing people? It is precisely because of this suspicion that in the original work, Konan and Nagato did not regard the masked man as the real Madara, but just regarded him as an ambitious man. So, what exactly do Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Obito want to do? Why did Uchiha Madara give the Samsara Eye to Nagato? I don't know much about their purpose, I just know that their plan is called Eye of the Moon. Chapter 248. Stubborn Nagato. Deep inside the Akatsuki base, old friends who had not seen each other for many years met, and the atmosphere should have been warm. But Jiraiya's words turned the atmosphere that should have been warm into a serious and solemn one. Eye of the Moon? Yes, according to my guess, that of Minato, or Okimura and others, this plan is probably aimed at the moon hanging in the sky, otherwise, there is no need to give this plan such a name. The moon? Well, this is just our guess, and we haven't figured out what it is for yet. Having said that, Jiraiya didn't want to reveal more information. Just like he said, it was just a guess. If he told everything, what if he guessed wrong? If possible, Jiraiya also wanted to maintain some dignity as a teacher in front of Konan and the other two, rather than being some kind of funny character. As for the Samsara Eye, it's probably not as simple as giving it to Nagato. The three nodded, expressing their understanding of what Jiraiya said. If Uchiha Madara really had some unknown purpose, then he would never give away an eye like the Samsara Eye that has great power. Looking at Nagato, who had become a pile of bones and flesh due to the use of the power of the Samsara Eye, Konan had a vague guess in her heart. However, this guess was too vague and could not form a complete chain of suspicion in her heart. So Nagato, knowing that the Samsara Eye is not your eye, and you may be in Uchiha Madara's chessboard, in this case, do you still insist on your own ideas? Jiraiya's purpose of coming to the Hidden Rain village was to dispel Nagato's extreme idea. Capturing the nine-tailed beasts and sealing them in the outer path demon statue together, it is too extreme to hear it. When Tobirama Senju captured the tailed beasts, it was because the tailed beasts were still free. Even if he captured these tailed beasts, no one would jump out to blame him. But now it is different. All the tailed beasts, except the 3 tails that are being resurrected, the other 8 tailed beasts are all sealed in the bodies of ninjas and become the so-called Jinchuriki. If you want to capture the tailed beasts, you'll definitely offend the ninja village with Jinchuriki. Looking at the current situation of the 5 villages under pressure, you will know how serious Nagato's situation is at this time. But fortunately, Nagato had not had time to capture the 9 tails, and Konoha and Nagato had not yet reached the point of a life and death struggle. In addition, with the relationship with Jiraiya, Konoha was very happy to take in the thrill of them. Teacher Jiraiya. Listening to Jiraiya's words, even Nagato fell into confusion. From having the Samsara Eye to capturing the 9-tailed beasts, was this the path arranged for him by others? Then, is it also false that the tailed beasts were sealed into the Pluto to form a military deterrent to the ninja world, so that the major ninja villages would be hesitant and dare not use force on a large scale, thus allowing the ninja world to wend to peace? Thinking about it, Nagato suddenly thought of something, and his eyes changed from confusion to firmness again. Even if my life and everything I have done so far are arranged by others, I still want to give it a try. You stinky boy, why are you so stubborn? Hearing that Nagato still didn't give up that conceivable idea, Jiraiya immediately became anxious. Nagato, do you want to reconsider it? Yes, Nagato, capturing the 9-tailed beasts may be part of the Eye of the Moon plan. Don't be fooled. Konan and Yahiko were also anxious. The plan to capture the tailed beasts was obviously unreliable, so why didn't Nagato listen to advice? I understand what you said, but, now the Samsara Eye is in my hand. As long as I don't have any problems, then everything is not a problem. Not to mention that Uchiha Madara is dead. Even if he is resurrected, what can he do? As long as he dares to attack me, I can kill him. Nagato, since you insist on doing so, I can't hold you back. Nagato, you know, no matter what decision you make, I will support you. Nagato's extremely confident words infected Konan and Yahiko. They changed sides on the spot and no longer chose to dissuade him, but began to support him. But Jiraiya felt embarrassed when he heard it. The three of them didn't know the horror of Uchiha Madara, but Jiraiya knew a little bit. In his opinion, even if Nagato has the Samsara Eye, the 6 paths of pain are still very difficult to deal with if others don't know the information. But he is not facing some random people, but the Shura of the ninja world, Uchiha Madara. With Madara's strength, even if he doesn't have the Samsara Eye, but just a pair of ordinary eyes, it is not something that ordinary people can deal with. Besides, Uchiha Madara has been planning for so many years, and he has specially found Obito as a successor. Doesn't he have any backup? Looking at the confident Nagato and the high-spirited Konan and Yahiko, Jiraiya secretly said, "You are still too young." He was also young, and knew that persuading them at this time would most likely backfire and arouse the rebellious psychology of the three. So, Jiraiya simply stopped persuading them. "Since Nagato has made a decision, I won't persuade you, but you and Konan have to give me some blood." "Thank you, Teacher Jiraiya." Nagato and Konan understood that this was because Jiraiya was worried that they would die, and he was preparing to revive them in the future. "I'm your teacher, you don't have to be so polite to me." Jiraiya chuckled, turned around and said to Yahiko, "Yahiko, with your current strength, it's difficult to help Nagato, come back to Konoha with me later." "Okay." Yahiko also knew that his current strength was already at the bottom of the three. Once he appeared on the battlefield, let alone helping, it would be good if he could not be a drag. "It's been many years since we last met, I believe you have a lot to say, you guys chat first, I'm going to go out for some fresh air." After saying that, Jiraiya walked out without paying attention to the reactions of the three. Coming to a ventilated place, Jiraiya sat cross-legged on the ground, thinking about the future situation of the ninja world. From the current point of view, if there is no accident, Nagato and Konan are most likely dead. Don't underestimate the 4th Hokage of the Hidden Cloud Village. He suffered such a big loss at the hands of Nagato some time ago, this time he must have made sufficient preparations. Once Nagato dies, the Samsara Eye will become a thing without an owner, and maybe it will set off a bloody storm again. Even if the 4th Hokage didn't know what they were looking for, Obito and that Zetsu would definitely not let go of these eyes. Jiraiya was not worried about the Samsara Eye itself. What he was most worried about was that someone would use the Samsara Eye to revive Uchiha Madara. Once Uchiha Madara was resurrected, who could stop him, given the current combat power of the ninja world? No matter how confident Jiraiya was, he would not think that he could deal with Uchiha Madara. The 2nd generation can only come here once a month, and can only stay for an hour each time. Distant water cannot quench our nearby fire. It seems that it's time to revive the 1st generation of our time and space. Half an hour later, Yahiko found Jiraiya and handed him 2 small bottles of blood and a slightly larger bottle containing a Samsara Eye. Jiraiya. Chapter 249. My pain is greater than yours. No, what does Nagato mean by giving me the Samsara Eye? Looking at the bottle with the Samsara Eye in his hand, Jiraiya was confused. Nagato said that even if he only had one Samsara Eye, he could still deal with the Raikage and his men, but I think he was just trying to hold on. So, he gave me one Samsara Eye, so that even if he was defeated and died, the enemy wouldn't get a complete pair of Samsara Eyes? Yeah, that's probably what he meant. Jiraiya sighed. He couldn't understand Nagato's idea at all. Knowing that he might die, why would he go to die? Wouldn't it be better to just go back to Konoha with him? Before coming, Jiraiya had Orochimaru create 2 corpses to be used as substitutes. These 2 corpses were made from Hashirama cells from White Zetsu. They might not be qualified as bodies for resurrection, but they were definitely enough to be used as a corpse that was indistinguishable from the real thing. Perhaps, Nagato also has his own persistence. The profession of ninja is very strange. Every ninja has his own unique ninjutsu. Just like the Tao heart in the immortal cultivation novels. Once you do something that goes against your principles, your strength will be greatly reduced at best, and you may even die. Violating your own ninja code will not lead to such terrible consequences, but it will also make you fall into a state of confusion. Nagato has been a god for so long, and except for Konan, he sees everyone else as a traitor. Want him to surrender before the fight even starts? That's basically impossible. Because a god can't lose. Konan, who was heading to the ninja assembly point in the hidden cloud village, felt a little distressed when she saw Nagato with his right eye closed. His body was already very weak, and this time he lost another Rinnegan, which increased the burden of controlling the 6 paths of pain. It doesn't seem to be a big deal in the short term, but over time it will definitely make his body worse. Don't worry, Konan, I won't lose. Yes, I believe you. Konan nodded firmly, as if she really believed in Nagato. Hide somewhere a little further away. I'm afraid you'll be affected if we fight later. It's okay. I can fight too. Listen, don't fight this time. Whether I win or lose, you have to save your energy to help me clean up. Okay, I'll listen to you. The Land of Rain is not big, and the location of the Hidden Rain village is relatively close to the border of the Land of Grass. With the help of Konan's paper escape technique, the two of them rushed all the way and soon arrived at the place where the ninjas of the Hidden Cloud village gathered. In the woods, after Konan successfully hit her and Nagato couldn't help but control the 6 paths of pain and started forward. I'll go say hello first. Be careful. Don't worry. Soon, the heavenly path of the 6 paths of pain came above the ninjas of the Hidden Cloud village. At this time, the 4th Hokage was still waiting for the time to act with the other 4 major ninja villages. As soon as the time comes, the ninjas of the 5 major ninja villages will enter the Land of Rain together from different directions, and will definitely not let any ninjas in the Akatsuki organization escape. Until Shinra Tensei. A powerful repulsive force appeared, and all the Kamugaku ninjas were directly thrown away. Fortunately, the ninjas who followed the Raikage on this expedition were all elites. The powerful repulsive force of Shinra Tensei only caused some injuries to a few people, and there were no serious injuries. Damn it, I didn't expect him to dare to take the initiative to attack. The appearance of Shinra Tensei let Raikage know that the culprit who destroyed the Kamugaku village had appeared. Looking up at the sky, he saw Tendo Pain slowly descending. You are so brave. Tendo Pain, who landed on the ground, did not answer Raikage's words, but asked, do you understand what pain is now? Derry and 11 beside Raikage looked at each other. They didn't expect that the enemy who destroyed the Kamugaku village seemed to have some brain problems. Yes, I do feel the pain you're talking about. At the same time, I also understand that you must have your own pain, but, at this point, Raikage recalled the village destroyed by the man in front of him, as well as the large number of dead ninjas and villagers. Suddenly, his face began to become crazy and distorted. But, my pain is greater than yours. Pain. Shouldn't this be my word? Bang. The lightning shape could burst out, and the 4th generation Raikage used all his strength from the beginning, wanting to kill the man in front of him as soon as possible to avenge the dead. Facing the aggressive 4th generation Raikage, Tendo Pain's face did not fluctuate at all. He just opened his right hand forward and aimed at the Raikage. Shinra Tensei, it must be said that repulsion can be used for both offensive and defensive, and it is easy to use. A Shinra Tensei made Raikage's bursts bring a joke. But Raikage was not discouraged. He had already prepared himself to be bounced away by repulsion. As soon as the repulsive force disappeared, he immediately rushed towards Tendo Pain. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Tendo, and the process took less than a second. The repulsive force of Shinra Tensei is indeed strong. In the original work, only Naruto, who has transformed into a tailed beast, can resist and even break the repulsive force of Shinra Tensei. However, although this move is strong, it has a fatal flaw. That is, this move has a 5-second cooldown time. In other words, if you want to use Shinra Tensei for the second time, you can only do it after 5 seconds. Raikage didn't know this, he just wanted to use speed to deal with Tendo. In the entire ninja world, except for Minato's Flying Thunder God technique, he is the fastest. Lightning Release. Thunderblade. Raikage's first move was a killing move, without any reservation, just wanting the man in front of him to die. Tendo Pain's own speed is not fast, facing Raikage's attack, he simply dodges. Fortunately, he doesn't need to dodge. Blood splattered, and a transparent figure suddenly appeared between Tiandao and Raikage. Is this a summoned beast? That's right, it was the chameleon summoned by the animal path. This kind of summoned beast can use the surrounding environment to achieve the effect of invisibility. Raikage put all his energy on Tiandao Pain and did not notice the chameleon that was spurting blood. It happened in a flash. At the moment when the chameleon was killed by Raikage, the figure of Shirato appeared behind Tiandao. Tsunade was very straightforward and fired several small missiles at Raikage. However, the speed of these missiles was a bit slow. At least, in the sight of Raikage, these missiles were a bit slow. Boom boom boom. Several missiles exploded, but Raikage did not suffer any damage. He had already dodged the moment the missiles appeared. With his speed, these missiles could not hurt him. I apologize to all the readers here. Because a friend who was in the army came back yesterday, and I drank a little too much with him. When I got home, I was too dizzy, so I didn't update. The update for tomorrow morning will probably be delayed until around the afternoon, and I have to go out and meet friends today. Sorry again. Orts Chapter 250. Mirror Flower and Water Moon? No, it is the art of the paper god. Raikage was very fast, and neither Shirado nor Tendo could do anything to him. However, the Kamigaku ninja he brought with him was different. When facing the other pains who suddenly appeared, the Kamigaku ninja had no power to fight back at all. The Kamigaku ninja, which had not been reduced in number, immediately lost several people. Damn, Raikage's face was ferocious, and he began to burst the lightning shaker beyond the limit. A flash of lightning flashed, and the several pains who were attacking the Kamigaku ninja instantly fell to the ground, and their bodies also suffered varying degrees of injuries. Especially the human way, whose left arm was directly cut off by Raikage. Looking at the wound of the human way with very little bleeding, Raikage frowned and felt that something was wrong. A normal person who had an arm cut off could endure the severe pain with a strong will and not scream. But the blood in the wound would definitely flow without medical treatment. But what is the situation now? The wound of Rin Tian was indeed bleeding, but it was only a little blood, and the blood was very dark, accompanied by a strong stench. It was as if the blood did not flow from a living person, but from a body that had been dead for a long time. Raikage seemed to have thought of something. He turned around and shouted to 11. 11, sense the surroundings and see if there are any hidden enemies. Derry, protect 11. Yes, X2 Derry and 11 took the order and began to leave the battlefield step by step. They needed a safe environment so that 11 could sense everything around without distraction. Raikage was also attacking pains with all his strength, so that they would not harass 11. It was just that Tiandao pains had gravitational force in addition to repulsion. Tiandao in Raikage's speed was too fast, and Tiandao could not lock his body. But if he couldn't lock Raikage, could he still lock 11? Oh no. Their bodies flew uncontrollably towards Tiandao, which made Derry and Shi's faces change wildly. Storm release. Encourage and defeat lock. It was too late to stop it, so Derry could only attack Wei to save Zhao, and fired several powerful lasers at Tiandao, hoping to force Tiandao to give up 11. Unfortunately, his idea did not work. Tiandao just threw out a few black sticks at random, and eliminated these laser attacks. What? Derry was shocked. It was the first time he saw such a strange situation. His storm release was actually eliminated by a few inconspicuous black sticks. Note that it was not offset, but eliminated. Don't even think about it. Tiandao attacked 11, further confirming the conjecture of Raikage. These people with circle eyes in front of him were a group of puppets controlled by someone. The fastest way to find that person in the dark who controlled these puppets was to use his perception ability. Therefore, 11 must not die. Hectares, saved. Raikage was too fast, and saved 11 who was flying towards Tiandao in the blink of an eye. Are you okay, 11? It's okay. 11 let out a long sigh of relief and immediately set off to join Derry. He also figured out that there must be enemies hiding in the dark, otherwise Tiandao would not have locked onto him. In terms of combat power, he is not strong among these people. The only thing he can show off is his strong perception ability. Find the enemy as soon as possible. Got it. Conan, I may have to trouble you later. Somewhere in the woods, Nagato's condition was not very good at the moment. It was still too much of a burden for him to control the 6 paths of pain with only one Rinnegan. Even though he had devoted himself to the battle, the weakness in his body made him increasingly unable to do it. Nagato, I will protect you. Using the paper produced by himself, Conan's perception ability was not weak. When Raikage and 11 entered this small forest, Conan immediately noticed it. I'll go out and meet them. Be careful. Don't worry, I'm not that easy to deal with. Leaving the hiding place, Shonen spread her wings and flew high in the sky. When she saw Raikage and 11, she threw several paper shurikens at them without saying a word. When Shonen left the hiding place, 11 also sensed her at the first time. Lord Raikage, be careful in the sky. The attack speed of paper shurikens is very fast, but Raikage is faster. It was just a few paper shurikens, and Raikage took his hand and dodged them easily. But when Raikage looked up at Shionen and was about to say something, the paper shuriken stuck in the ground suddenly began to burn. Detonating talisman. 11 was shocked. Raikage could withstand the explosion of the detonating talisman with his physical defensor, but he couldn't. Fortunately, there was Raikage beside him. Boom boom boom. When the detonating talisman was successfully detonated, Raikage immediately blocked in front of Abai and blocked most of the impact of the explosion. The impact only caused the strong Raikage to suffer a minor injury. Are you okay, 11? It's okay. 11 shook her head, indicating that she was not injured. Can you tell me how you found this place? In the sky, Shonen was a little confused. The God's paper technique was a technique that even the Sharingan could not see through. Shonen did not believe that his perception ability was strong enough to find her and Nagato. It's very simple. There will be some noise in the normal grove because of small animals and insects, but it's too quiet here. I see. At this time, Raikage looked at Shionen flying in the sky with resentment. I have to say, a knight is really a talent. He actually used the detonating tag as a shuriken, and I almost got caught. Raikage really hated the people at the Akatsuki organization. Even if Shionen was a woman, he burst out with swear words without any scruples. It's a pity that I couldn't kill you. Want to kill me? Ha ha ha, with just those few detonating talismans. Raikage laughed angrily, not taking Shionen's attack seriously. How many detonating talismans? When did you get the illusion that I only have a few detonating talismans? As soon as the voice fell, 11 shouted to Raikage in fear. Lord Raikage, be careful around you. Hearing his words, Raikage immediately looked around. It would be fine if he didn't look, but when he looked, Raikage couldn't help but be shocked. The trees, grass, and rocks that should have been very ordinary turned into neatly stacked detonating talismans. Raikage roughly estimated that these detonating talismans added up to at least several thousand. The time is too short, I only arranged these few detonating talismans. But it should be enough to deal with you. Just a few thousand detonating talismans, for Shionen who has hundreds of billions of detonating talismans, it's not even a drop in the bucket. If time wasn't too tight, and to take care of Nagato's self-esteem, Konan would have buried hundreds of thousands or even millions of detonating tags around. Under the god's paper art, his perception ability was like a joke. Die. With a thought, the detonating tags around him immediately began to burn. Seeing that the big explosion was about to come, Raikage roared, burst out with 120% speed and appeared in front of 11. Go. Using clever strength, Raikage kicked 11 in the abdomen, trying to kick him to a safe area. Raikage succeeded. When the detonating tags around him began to explode, 11 successfully escaped from the range of the explosion. But Raikage himself was deeply trapped in it. Lord Raikage. Boom. Thanks to Passepi who likes novels for the 500 book coins reward. Thank you. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.